Intro. Good morning. This
Says
is
we're
the In
live.
Seizn Podcast. Uh,
Good
Good
morning.
morning. This is the In Seizn Podcast. One of
Yeah.
the best podcasts around where we don't know what we're going to talk about until it's time to talk about it.
Um, so what we hold on. I think I'm frozen here. Can is Pookie frozen?
No, I'm not.
No,
Uh,
I don't see you
no,
moving at all. Okay, so
I
what are we
think
gonna talk about?
you don't
Um,
have anything. I got some
after
stuff.
that
You
after
don't
that
appear
wonderful
frozen to
intro,
me,
what were we gonna
but I can't.
Oh,
No?
I was gonna rant
Wait,
about
what'd you say? Oh,
Florida
go ahead.
and right?
The
You
alligators? Yeah,
stopped
go
me
ahead.
from talking um about what, Naples and the invention of the swamp buggy, right? So
Right.
a an invention of convenience or an invention of necessity that was cobbled together out of, a um
Yeah.
convenient like convergence of um, new technologies that all kind of happen to um, come together right at post World War One. So that was the time period where all-wheel drive was first invented. Um, it was used, I think it was initially used in military for their vehicles. Don't quote me on that, but it was, first available to the Florida settlers. Um, Early Florida settlers were referred to as crackers, uh, and their descendants living in the Everglades at the time. It was very, very, very remote. Um, and so, yeah, early Florida crackers in the early 20th century were um, just hacking together old tractors with gigantic wheels and taking a four-wheel drive system out of an old army truck and, connecting the gearbox to the transmission from this big, um, old semi. So, just whatever was available, whatever would do the job. Um, but, the swamp gets really deep, so they needed something with a high, keep them elevated up off the ground. Um, Not just in order to get through, but also for safety. The alligators in the swamp area, there's crocodiles, there's five different types of venomous snakes that are native to Florida. And I believe all
Wow.
of them can be found in the Everglades at various parts, various locations. It's a very diverse ecosystem. Uh,
Is it
Greatest
swampy?
biodiversity. Yes. Yeah. I mean, parts of it are dry, solid ground. Parts of it are like just literally underwater. Um, there's a stretch uh, that's called the River of Grass that it's basically like just a few inches deep of uh, water and muck, and then this uh, was called
Marsh.
sawgrass. Yeah,
Is that where they
sawgrass
use
is
the
Marsh.
puppies.
is that where they use the
Marshland.
airboats?
Yes, yeah, the airboats are
I
perfect
think
for that.
I
Um,
think those would be fun.
those, yeah, yeah. Um,
Um,
and you don't need
I've seen
any driver's license for that. So yeah, hey, we epileptics can drive an
private
airboat. If you can find somebody who would let you use their
drive
airboat,
their
then
airboat.
yeah, technically we can drive them. Um, but yeah, the uh so um yeah, it's uh I mean, yeah, these big swamp buggies, then there were these trails and tracks that were kind of developed in the Everglades, going through a handful of little small settlements. There's um, some areas that are just, an individual's like elevated house that they just built for themselves out in the middle of nowhere. Um, because it wasn't a national park. It wasn't protected for a long time. It was when was it actually? I need to look it up. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, I think, was um, the lady who is responsible for
Giving a protected status.
who's gets a lot of the credit at least. Um, but yeah, so I don't know if you probably remember the school shooting at that high school over in, yeah, Marjorie Stoneman
I do.
Douglas. Yeah. So they named that high school after her. But yeah, just a little side note there. That's um but here.
It'd be cool to have that many animals around. All we got here is cows.
Yeah, it's got the greatest biodiversity um of anywhere in the upper 48 or the
You guys have
lower
hippos?
48. No, no, thank God. Oh my gosh, that would be terrible. I bet
They're
hippos
coming.
would do really well. What? What do you mean?
Yeah. I think it started off as four, three girls and one boy. Uh, that one drug dealer had. I forgot his name. He
Oh,
had those
that's
hippos on
in
his land.
that's in South America. Pablo Escobar.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's in
yeah, but
Colombia.
watch when they overtake the
They'd
Gulf.
have to
Then,
they'd have to spread all the way up through Mexico and Texas and across through Louisiana and then down the Panhandle, unless somebody gives them a lift across the Gulf of Mexico, and
one
hops
day
them over. No, no.
I read that there are as much as 30,000 now from three. He left four. He left three girls and a boy, and now there are above 30,000.
Yeah, but they're in
Give them some
Colombia.
years.
They're
Give them
get
some
they're
time.
not gonna make it over here.
They're gonna go
Never
like this
say
when they get out
never.
on the
Horrible.
Gulf.
Well,
They're gonna
they're
skip
not
the
gonna
Gulf
spread
and go
over
up.
here naturally. They can't cross an ocean.
Big bodies of water. Yeah.
Are
Yeah,
you
no,
sure?
they're not. Yeah, they can't live in salt water and they can't swim that well. And there's lots of sharks in the Gulf of Mexico when you get out in the deep. Um, hippos are fat and slow moving and basically shark bait.
I was gonna
They're
say
not
easy
getting
catch.
across. They're not getting across the Gulf, unless someone gives them a ride. And any person
I
who
can
would do
imagine
that
that.
is an asshole. We've got enough invasive species in Florida already, um,
That's what I was gonna
and
say.
enough
Um,
critically endangered species in Florida already too. Some
and
of them, I
invasive
think,
species.
yeah. Um,
You guys have the nutria.
Nutria,
Don't forget the
really?
pythons.
Yeah, the pythons are
Yeah,
a big one.
I was
That's how
looking at
this
some
kind
people
of
hunting in
came
the
up.
marsh.
We were talking, but right before starting the live stream here, I was telling everyone here that about the Swamp People show I'm watching, Serpent Invasion, and
Mm,
some of those like alligator hunters from the original Swamp People reality show uh, hopped over from Louisiana to the Everglades and are hunting the invasive species there, the pythons, because they've gotten so bad that the state has issued a bounty on the pythons. So, um, like each time they catch one of these things, they give like stats of how long it is, how much it weighs, and then gives the dollar amount that they are worth from the state. And, a pair of these guys out in a single day out there can get, I've seen them get 2 grand worth of snake bounties in a single day's hunting, which is
That's good
not bad.
money.
Yeah, pretty good money.
what's a snake
Um,
For
bounty?
yeah,
uh,
you take the snakes and yeah, Florida Fish and Wildlife will pay you for each snake that you remove from the Everglades.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that there are different bounties for different python species, but um, all
Burmese are cool.
pythons, yeah, there's Burmese, there's rock pythons, um, there are. I haven't seen any ball pythons there, but I think a lot of them were originally released because they are um,
Pets
species
that get
that,
too big.
yeah, pets that, yeah, exactly. Thank you. Um, so ball pythons are pretty small. They don't get like more than what, 4 or 5 feet.
I
Uh,
think they can get around that 5, maybe 6 for a
yeah,
really big one. I
yeah.
actually have
Yeah.
had a Burmese python wrapped around me once.
What, really?
Yeah, for
How's that
real.
happen?
Well, one of my good friends growing up, her sister's boyfriend had one, and he was probably 10 foot long at least.
Oh,
And we got to bring him to science class for our demonstration. And
what?
I was holding him, and he was all wrapped around me. It's huge.
Mm.
That's how old were you? Sorry, I don't remember
That
your
was middle
age group.
school. That was in middle school. So,
Wow.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah.
a 10-foot snake could have like probably killed and swallowed you if it
Oh,
got
yeah.
hungry.
Wrapped
Yeah.
around, ran, ran.
Mm,
Yeah. He was enormous,
mm.
but he was a cool snake.
Okay. Uh, yeah, I haven't had that big of a snake wrapped around me. Well, I haven't been that little in a while, so yeah, snake
I'd
isn't
still
gonna
do
eat
it.
I
me.
mean,
But
yeah, um even at our size and age, like a 10-foot and up snake could squeeze and kill a human. It might not be able to swallow a human and live, but they're
it
not
can kill
too
you.
bright, so it could still probably try. Um, there are there are documented cases where, like here in Florida, where a snake killed an alligator and swallowed it and then exploded because the gator was so big. So yeah, they're not bright, but you don't have to be when you're so well adapted to an environment like that. You know, they're
Don't Burmese like get up to like 20, 25 feet or something like that? They
I
can anyway.
they I bet they could. I
A
don't
big
know.
snake.
They,
Yeah,
I
Don't
haven't
very
know.
seen them.
That,
Yeah, I haven't seen them catch any that size on the TV show yet, but um, they're they've got definitely 14, 15 foot Burmese pythons um, on there. So I mean, it's reasonable to assume that they could get bigger than that, right? Um, I
yeah, there's ones we don't know where they are. They found a
yeah.
fish.
Oh,
Um,
and they
large.
did you
found an
guys see the
anaconda
fish?
too. There was an anaconda that
The
they caught.
snuffleupagus.
A what?
I saw that.
They found a fish that they named the snuffleupagus.
Mm,
He looks like snuffleupagus. Yeah,
From Sesame
they
Street.
showed a picture of it. They showed a picture of it next to him, and it does kind of look like him. So I'll accept their word for that one, the snuffleupagus. And they told exactly where its origin comes from, because we know snuffleupagus. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm here. I gotta make sure I know what's going on out there in the world, so I watch the news. Uh, yeah,
Google says
gotta
that
come
the
here with the.
Burmese can exceed 20 feet, but the
wow.
wild ones typically reach around 16 feet. And the largest one ever recorded in Florida was 19 feet in the Big Cypress
Mm,
National Preserve in July of 2023. Weighed
mm.
125 pounds.
Wait, this is the little
And
fish we're talking about?
that was in Big Cypress? That's
Yes, Big
wow.
Cypress, July 2023. No, a snake, Pookie. Burmese python.
Okay, okay, because
19 feet
yeah, just
long
make.
and 125 pounds.
Mm,
That's a
Mm,
big snake.
uh, does sound like it. Um,
that's but uh interesting little historical factoid there also, or also just side note, the environment of the Everglades there, and especially the uh, mucky mangrove um, uh, swamps um, create a zero oxygen environment that is very good for preserving um, uh, artifacts.
Remains.
Yeah, remains and artifacts. I'm not sure about human remains, but um, there is an item called the Key Marco cat, which is about a 6 inch tall little wooden carving that is one of the absolute best examples of um, native, pre-Columbian Native American art that is preserved, the wooden carving preserved only because of the anaerobic environment there in the Everglades that's, characteristic of the just walking around and you start sinking. So, they drop it and it boom. But yeah, Marco Island is just south of area where I lived, and they had it on display in a little area there. It's recently moved back to the Smithsonian Museum in Washington, D.C., but it was on loan um, to uh, to the location it was discovered for several years. Uh, but cool little Florida factoid is it's estimated to be between 500 and 1,500 years old, uh,
It's
which
quite a
is,
range.
yeah, well, I mean, yeah, but, um, the preservation is part of why I think that Um, Although that shouldn't affect radiocarbon decay. I don't know. I don't know why such a wide range. That is a good point. I wonder.
Makes me think of the peat bogs where they find the like peat bog mummies that
Yeah,
are so well preserved and so realistic looking.
I mean they are real, so that's why they're
Well,
realistic looking.
but most, you know what I'm saying, when you think of a mummy, you don't think
Yeah,
of
right.
like that
Yeah,
kind of mummy.
yeah. King Tut doesn't look as good as the that Irish bogman, right?
Right,
With his, I mean,
exactly.
even his hat
Yeah.
and clothing and stuff all preserved. Um, and
He looks like he just laid down.
rope around his neck that they used to hang him. Um, yeah,
Mm, mm, mm.
Very, very realistic. And I mean, it just looks like you're looking at somebody laying there.
yeah, kind of
Uh,
unsettling when I first saw it. Now it's like
Yeah.
fascinating. I'm like, oh, I want to see more. Show me all of the Bogmen.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but I remember when I first saw it, like back in the 90s and on some History Channel show, it was like, "Wha-" kind of, yeah.
Well, and
Um,
they're all discolored and like, isn't the one you're talking about? Isn't he like he looks black? Just everything is black
yeah,
entirely.
see something about the
Interesting.
preservation, because I mean, the other mummies, like, well, the first and easiest to come to mind are, the Egyptian mummies, obviously.
They're
And
the
I know that
most well known.
they're all dark, as well once you get underneath the wrappings. But I think that that's common across all mummies, part of the mummification process, the preservation, the desiccant, drying out,
Yeah.
removal of the moisture leaves behind just the like the carbon and all that stuff that has a darker hue, without all the lifeblood. Um, so yeah, I'm not seeing any reason why there is such a wide range for the Key Marco cat, but I want to look up the Bogman now. I wonder if there's a similarly wide range in an estimate for the Bogman, because it might be an indicator that it's just common across mummies, that they're hard to pin down the specific dating.
Yeah.
mm. um, what I was gonna say is, I did the little. There's some information that Twisted sent me to do the malpractice case for Morgan, and they're moving fast. They are in love with my case. And it was just delayed treatment. But literally, they've been calling me every day, like every morning, trying to
I
get
mean,
this ball rolling. Even on the
yeah.
weekend, they just called me a few minutes ago, but they don't understand that we're here and not with them. No,
Well,
I'm just kidding. But yeah, they're trying to get the ball rolling. I got
yeah.
other things to do, but yeah.
They wanna get paid, and in
Ew.
order to get paid, they gotta get you paid. So yeah, your dollar signs in
They're
their mind. Um, yeah, especially law firms that um, you know, have policy
well,
like
pro ban.
we only
We only get
take
paid
a
if you get paid.
yeah, only take a percentage if, we don't charge anything until, and
Pro bono.
it only if, yeah, well, not pro bono, because that means they're not charging anything, period, on the house.
Oh.
no. But yeah, only if there's got to be a Latin term for it, some legalese, something, and I don't speak Latin, but um, I'm not curious enough to look it up. So, um, the yeah, circling way back to the swamp buggies. Um, yeah, when I was living in Naples, they had swamp buggy races, and there's a little dedicated race course.
Whoa.
Um, and there is a whole like subculture down in the Florida Everglades area of people who build and race these things and bring them like to Naples um, periodically, and they are crazy. I mean, imagine any other motorsport, right? The noise and all that stuff. Um, I mean, but they got these gigantic wheels to keep them off the ground, tiny little narrow wheels in the front, um, and big ones in the back that they throttle so hard that they're more hydroplaning across the swampy water than they're actually driving in the solid ground underneath it. And there's a section of the the race course that is actually a big pit, uh, you know, all underwater. So they actually have to go fast enough to hydroplane over that, or they have to have like a boat-like shape underbody to the chassis so that they can
So they don't
float
sink.
across that. Yeah. And so the front wheels are being narrow helps act like rudders also, but they typically um, all have power from the motor. So they're spinning too, but then,
They're
um,
racing?
yeah. And I mean, it's
That seems
they're
very dangerous.
Right.
well, I mean, only for the person driving it. Um,
That's
that's
like the kids out here driving these
well,
four-wheeler. I mean, these things out here,
it's a
everywhere.
little more elaborate than that. Um,
Go.
yeah, they're you should see them. They're like it's more like uh top fuel dragsters than um racing like the UTVs around and stuff. They got a dedicated build these things. They're long and gigantic. Uh yeah. They're um top fuel drag racers. If you know what those are, or like the funny cars, the really really long tiny wheels at the front with the wing out way out in the front so that it doesn't flip itself over. And then the big
Great big wide
squishy
slicks
wheels
in the
and the
back.
yeah, and the big wing up at the top, and they just like what the dedicated ones burning nitromethane so much that there's like flames still shooting out of the just straight up open headers. Why bother with an exhaust, right?
Right.
Headers
You don't
headers
need
are
one.
headers are exhaust pipes too, right? An exhaust
Right.
is just whatever you use to get the gas out of the engine. It doesn't matter where you end it. Well, I guess it does matter where you end it, but yeah, there, but
They don't care
the
about being quiet.
no.
Right.
When you're aiming for like 1500 horsepower, you don't And there's no noise restrictions either. I mean, you're not driving these things through the city. So you
Thank God.
don't have to deal with city ordinances. Yeah, thank God. But um yeah, it's a good day's fun.
Are
As
the
long as
swamp
you
buggy
remember ear protection, hearing protection is really important.
are
Um
the swamp buggy races something that they go and watch or
yeah,
just participate in?
yeah,
Because it would be
there's
kind of
stands.
hard. Did they put like viewing points all along the track?
Yeah, I think they've got I don't know if what they've got now. I mean, it's been 2 decades since I lived down there, but they've got I think they've got like viewing stands up on the side of the track, safely back away, but up enough so that everybody can see. And they've got, I mean, they, yeah, I mean, most of the people interested in watching them are the people who are building them. So, um,
Yeah,
there's not a lot of people outside of that little community who, but I mean, they've all got friends and family who want to see how well they do in um, there's rivalries and all that stuff. So, it's got a little following, enough to justify having built a dedicated track and all that stuff, and all those people spending hundreds of thousands of dollars assembling these dedicated swamp buggies that do nothing except drive around a track for like less than a minute. So, um,
I'm
but
sure it would be fun, but yeah, not
sounds
worth
fun.
my money.
Yeah,
yeah, not worth my money. I could think of better ways I would use that money. Um, but I don't mind, having said that, yeah, I don't mind watching the fruits of somebody else's having spent that much money, right?
good.
Of
Yeah,
course.
Won't be.
yeah. Just like any professional racing league. Actually, I wonder if they might actually have their own like,
Pro circuit.
yeah.
Mm. Um, I actually had something I want you to listen to. Uh, whenever you have a chance, or whenever you guys are ready. Um,
What is it?
Yeah, they sell tickets
it,
to it, so there's um
so it is a thing.
swampbuggy.com.
They're official. They got their own
Yeah.
website.
I mean, there's a red bug swamp buggy team. So any motorsport that has a red bug or a Red Bull team is, you know,
That's a big deal.
yeah,
Oh wow,
yeah, yeah.
they race those things.
Yeah, that's what I've been talking about for like the past 10 minutes.
I know. I've been listening to you, but when I seen them, I'm like, God,
Yeah, yeah.
Did you
Yeah,
go see a
it is
picture
one
of it
thing
finally?
to listen to me talking about them. It's another thing to see what they actually look like. Yeah, the drive
right?
hangs way out across in front of the front wheels. So that's a whole thing to get used to for them, first off. And yeah, sponsors. We got Coors Light, Miller Lite,
But
Cat
it's very
Country
messy.
1071. Yeah,
Swamp
well,
buggy race. That's interesting.
yeah, Rattlesnake Hammock Road. Wow.
Looks like something I wouldn't be interested in going to.
Wouldn't, what? Really?
Looks fun, like something to watch it on TV, but
I don't, you're
It's
gonna
not
have,
the same
you're
if you're
not,
not getting thrown in your face, man.
yeah, and not getting
that's the
brain
thing. I
damage.
want to avoid that. as much as possible.
Oh, man,
That's the fun part.
I'm
that
trying to
is,
not get.
yeah.
It's so hard getting stuff out of my hair.
Oh,
I couldn't imagine getting splashed by mud and dirt and just like. Mm,
Wrap it up. Cover it up.
mm.
You got to go prepared.
since
The
1948.
annual Swamp Buggy Parade. Um, Mark, you should go to that. It's in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
not just in Florida. That's where I grew up. That's where I used to live. Naples.
Today and tomorrow are the days they are doing. Oh no, that's just January. Um, oh, that's an old.
Yeah, they
Hmm.
got whole different leagues, different classes.
Yeah,
There's like raised, lifted Jeep Wranglers,
one just passed
basically. Yeah.
the Coors Cup. Yeah, so
Oh,
um,
yeah, and the funny car equivalent things, the bespoke swamp buggies. The Red Bull team, I see at least, they got asymmetrical suspension since you're only doing right turns, um, they build a one side way out to kind of keep you from flipping over, right?
Well,
So that
they do
the
kind of have
left
a high
side,
center of gravity.
yeah, the left side suspension is way out, and the right side is tucked in closer to the driver there, so that it kind of keeps it. Yeah, yeah. That'd be
um,
cool. It might be fun. If only I could just hop in a car and drive, right?
it'd be nice.
If only.
If only. Yeah, and pretty much any motorsport I know of, especially any that have it like a whole organizing um structure, entity, whatever, have requirements for licensing, so I probably couldn't go drive one either. So,
That's
yeah.
unfortunate.
Um,
Yeah,
I- I'd like to see Mark cruising around in a swamp buggy.
I mean,
I couldn't
not
imagine. Oh my
cruising, I'd
goodness.
be flying. Mhm. I'd be,
Oh man,
boom. Yeah,
I could see Mark with a big smile on his face, shaking and going, but doing it. It's like I got this. With a smile though, I'd be like, Mark would be excited. I can imagine.
it'd be fun. It'd be fun. Ah, it's been so long since I've actually been able to drive, let alone like really drive, you know. It's like operate a transmission myself, not some slush box. Um, yeah. Uh, now I'm getting sad. Okay, but
Now you want a boogie?
now I want a buggy. Yeah. Even if I can't race them, I want a buggy. I'll have to settle for an airboat, I guess. Unless they require licenses. Oh, they might require licenses, boating license, and they might refuse those to epileptics. Although when you're out on the water, having a seizure behind the wheel of a boat doesn't seem as dangerous for, because there's not going to be like traffic immediately around you.
It's probably not as dangerous for, surrounding people, but it seems a lot more dangerous for the epileptic themselves because you're combining a motor vehicle with water.
Well, you
So if
wear
you
a
start,
life vest. I mean, that's just common sense. Even if you swim, like you wear a life vest, when you're out in water, because treading water when you're like fully closed and stuff, that drags you down real quick. And you can't
You
keep
just
up
got to
for
get naked.
right.
Um,
That would be an experience. Airboat ride in in your birthday suit.
um,
Feel the breeze.
Nothing but some
oh my
glasses
goodness.
to yeah, the goggles because it's I mean when you're going like 60 miles an hour
You don't have a
open
front
air.
window.
Yeah, no windshield. It hurts. Anything that hits your eyeball, even even just little um yeah, I was out
You're
one
gonna need
time with
glasses
and it
and
started raining, just a little
uh,
light drizzle, tiniest little eye like water drops. It's like it hurt.
It's like getting hit in the face with a bug when you're on a motorcycle.
I mean, I have not
yeah,
had that experience, but
me either.
it sounds similar. I bet that's not fun. Can't
No,
pick them out of your well,
you got to keep your mouth closed.
that's what the
You should
bandanas are
wear a
for,
ski
all the
mask,
biker guys, right?
just the
Yeah,
eyes out.
it's starting to make sense.
Yeah, you got the bandana and the goggles.
It's not just a fashion choice, is it? It's actually functional.
Right.
Wow. Wow. Or the
Um,
full face helmets. Yeah, yeah. But the real
Those
tough
big old
guys,
helmets catch a lot of drag though,
the
so you
real
got to
tough
like
guys,
mm,
even with the visor down, like they're just the
it did when
sides,
I
I guess.
was,
Yeah.
but I was on the back of a motorcycle and the dumbass decided to drive 120 miles an hour. So I was having trouble holding my head up.
I mean,
I was
yeah,
not
at
I
that
was not
speed,
happy.
it's like close your eyes and curl up and wait till we get there.
That's what
yeah,
I was trying to do.
yeah,
The
at
I
that
can't watch.
speed,
It's making me dizzy.
at that speed, the fluid mechanics of that whole system, the it's not just the aerodynamic drag from the turbulence in the wake behind your helmet that's pushing you back. The the s- skin friction is what it calls of the wind actually moving across the helmet starts to become non-trivial, as they say. Like when you put it into the math equation, um, you can't just ignore the skin friction, treat it as zero, and then do the rest of the math. You actually have to do that calculation and add it in, include it, because it starts to become significant enough. Um, which, little side note here, that's one thing, a little trick that um, engineers do a lot of times when dealing with physics calculations, big physics calculations and whatnot, or even just quick shorthand and stuff. When you're looking at something and you have some physics governing equation, um, engineers a lot of times look to try to, you know, exclude something, make assumptions that, we can ignore this part if and then just do the math for this. If we treat it as though it's not going to bend or something, if we treat it as though the wind moving across the helmet is not important compared to the drag of the wind. Um, so um, yeah, it's a fun little tidbit there. Engineers are lazy and they don't want to do all the math if they don't have to.
It's complicated math.
It is. Yeah. Um,
Hmm.
but sometimes it
Um,
isn't. If you just assume, then, none of that is important. Um, yeah. But I mean, that's also part of, just when you're looking at something and you need to make a quick assessment and you're not doing the full design, something you can kind of like back of the napkin calculation, it's like, yeah, like look at a block of stone. How big is it? Well, eyeball and just assume that it goes back as far as, these other stones here at the other end of the wall in this archaeological site, then, you um, that's a
A good
bad,
ballpark.
yeah, ballpark. That's the word. Um,
um, you guys want to switch to aliens?
sure. I mean, it's an easy switch because the Everglades are a big hotspot for UFO activity. So, segue from the swamp buggies to the aliens is pretty direct. A lot
Got
of the
some.
swamp
I
buggy
got some audio
people.
I want you to listen to,
Mm,
and then we'll get some of your thoughts on it. Let me know when you're ready.
Alien audio.
I'm ready.
Alien auto. Go for it.
Not Alien Auto. It's just a guy talking. Uh, but yeah, Alien Auto. Audio. Mm.
Well, I'm still a member of Congress, so I can't really comment too much on what Matt said. But I will say this.
So wait, seriously? Are you being serious, or is that tongue?
I've been 100% serious. Okay. I've been 100% serious. I've been briefed by just about every alphabet agency there is. And I'll just tell you this. If they would release the things that I've seen, you would stay up. You'd be up at night worrying about or thinking about this stuff. We just need to disclose it all. I'm sick of it.
I think this guy's trying to tell us there's aliens out there. Um, Tennessee Representative Tim Burchett, or yeah, looks like Burchett. Uh, yeah, thoughts on that?
It's an awful big space for us to be alone in the universe.
Mm, yeah,
I mean,
makes
why
sense.
not? We don't know everything.
We share
Something I
this.
think is interesting that all of any of these like disclosure people who are like actually provable like congressmen or um you know uh like former CIA people who were involved in investigations and whatnot. Whenever they talk about these things or any of this disclosure, they say non-human intelligence. They don't say alien or extraterrestrial. Non-human intelligence could mean a lot of stuff. Um, and it doesn't necessarily mean it came from up there. There could be non-human intelligence here on Earth. The oceans are big, cover more of the surface of the planet than land does, right? And deep.
And there's a
So we
lot of
got
stuff in
all
the
that
ocean we
depth.
don't know about.
Yeah. We know
Yet.
less about the ocean than we do about space in a lot of ways. So, um, I don't know. That's one thing. I mean, the ocean. Another thing that they don't disclose, I mean, or that is immediately discounted by a lot of people, um, as they would call it in Star Trek, non-corporeal entities, right? And, some might say, like spiritual, if you're more religious, you know, non-physical beings, right? A consciousness without physicality. would be a non-human entity, non-human intelligence, right? Um, why would that necessarily need to be or have to be immediately discounted, except that you would seem kind of ridiculous for saying it until relatively recently, right? And even now, I kind of feel a little ridiculous saying this to you guys, but I don't know, right? Why not? Can anybody say no, right? I
You
don't
can't
know.
prove it to be true and you can't prove it to be false because there's a lot we don't know.
Um, but why would extraterrestrial like alien people keep them up at night so much? Like a lot of people are comfortable with the idea of life from another planet, right? What would be that disturbing about it?
People worry a lot about things they don't need to worry about. So why not worry
I,
about that, I guess.
I suppose. Yeah. Or just, work people up into a frenzy, get them thinking
That's
about,
exactly what's happening.
something else. Yeah. Um, psyops from, I mean, he openly says, I've talked to, alphabet agencies. Who says that they're being honest with him, right? He could easily be. In fact, he sounds like definitely is, almost definitely is like a useful idiot, as they put it, right? Um, they don't, just because he was so read into whatever classified intelligence doesn't mean that they were giving him everything that they had about it, or that, what they were giving him was necessarily current and up to date and factual or whatever. They could, why not just tell him it's these aliens when we've in reality we've got some other something or whatever technology that the military doesn't want to disclose. So they tell certain people, certain things about UAPs and these lights, and make spooky implications that, let everybody else fill in the dots for themselves. Don't say it outright. Don't say aliens outright. Don't say, you know, non-corporeal entities outright. Let people imagine, let them talk about it, and that'll take eyes off of Trump's big China deal and Iran and ICE and all of these things that, I don't know. I haven't seen an ICE headline pop up on my news feed in weeks when that used to be everything. Like it's, I don't know why, and now, like, what's the timing is just right when there's a lot of important things going on. It's like, here you go. It's like, yeah,
Look
really?
over here.
Yeah.
Look over here, not what I'm doing.
Pretty lights. Ooh, check it out. Look at the lights in the sky. Aren't they nice? Make your hairs on the back of your neck stand up. Spooky lights, right? Because people fill in the dots for themselves. They
Yep.
imagine their spooky memories, feelings, or project whatever they want to on this stuff. And yeah, um, disclosure could just as easily, and in a lot of ways more likely, is disinformation, misinformation than it is like actual disclosure, honest disclosure. When could we ever trust any like any government agency to honestly disclose anything? Oh, yeah, I dropped my comb. Um,
Mm.
oh, terrible. Because you see, I gotta have something to do.
Gotta
So
keep your hands busy.
yeah, I mean it's the fidget
Your fidget spinner.
stim. Yeah, it's my most recent favored stim that I try to keep off camera, you know. But um
Sometimes
now
I go like this.
now it doesn't matter. Now you all know, even though I was trying to keep it off camera. I outed myself accidentally.
Sometimes I just go like
Mm,
this. Someone's talking and just fix my
yeah,
beard. Well, not fix it. I
yeah,
just
got
mm.
got something. Yeah, well, I mean, it makes you look wise and thoughtful when you do anyway, too. It's from
Feels
I
good
think
too.
all guys with beards play with their beard.
It's impossible not to. It's
Yeah, I
fun,
don't think.
and the finger nerves and the face nerves. There's yeah.
Yeah, it's always there. It's never gonna go away.
Well,
I
it could
Mm.
mean,
go away if you shave.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, but the needing to shave
Why?
is never going to go away.
Right.
Unfortunately.
I mean, well, yeah, unless you have to have chemo, I guess. God forbid, like really, that would suck. But
Not everyone loses their hair from chemo, though.
no,
Certain
No.
certain types of
but
chemo are more likely to have hair loss than others.
but chemo related hair loss is really one of the only reasons that I know of that facial hair would stop growing too, right? You
Well, you
I
don't
can get
didn't.
stop
electrolysis.
a lot of, well, that's not the same. That's kind of voluntary and kind of ridiculous.
What is it?
Don't do it to your beard.
What was the
Oh,
word you used, Andrea?
Electrolysis.
Okay. Don't
like
wait for me, Mark.
laser hair removal.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Okay, yeah, that's a by choice decision.
yeah.
Um, uh, I had something the other day because I
Medically
forgot what we were
necessary
talking about.
laser hair removal. That would be weird. I wonder if that's ever been prescribed by a doctor as opposed to
I
just
don't think
offered.
they would prescribe that.
Well, maybe
Seems
the
more of a
people, and there's conditions that cause like hyper. I'm forgetting the rest of the word hyper something. Yeah, but the growth of hair like all over the body. So I think, but even that would be elective.
hirsutism.
Huh?
Hirsutism.
How do you spell that?
I don't remember. I
Uh,
have to give me a minute.
No,
I'll put it in the
no.
chat.
Okay.
Pursuitism. That's what you said.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah. It's a woman thing. It causes excessive hair growth in women. Hirsutism.
No.
Think like the bearded lady. She
yeah.
has hirsutism.
Oh, wow. Um, Speaking of women, uh, Mark, you said something the other day. I forgot exactly what we were talking about, but you said uh, we said something about a lot of the differences of something, and then you were like, "There's not much different in the man's and woman's brain." So, uh, did some research on that. Uh, you're looking like you don't
What did
remember this.
I don't think I
I
would
forgot the
say
conversation.
that. I mean, okay. Um, I don't know. I'll,
Need to rewind of Wednesday.
I'll just go with it. I say a lot of things. I don't remember saying that. I don't think I would have said that, or I shouldn't have said that. But that doesn't mean I didn't say. I say a lot of things I shouldn't. Um, but yeah,
Anyways,
I
I
don't
forgot
think
what
that.
the argument was, but
Yeah.
you ended up saying that you don't think there's any big differences between the man and the woman's brain.
I
And
mean, there are
I
there
looked up
are structural differences, but they're not anything that would lead to significant differences in any difference at all in terms of cognitive ability or anything.
He
It's like,
certainly doesn't want
okay.
to say that men are whips and women are have different intelligence levels.
well, no, I would not, it's not that I'm trying to get out of it or anything. No, it's not true, period. That wouldn't have been anything that I would have said back then either. But there are differences in terms of, like women's reward pathways are um, triggered by some different actions than men. Like, grooming, putting on makeup releases endorphins in women in a way that it doesn't in men.
Not for me.
some
Well,
some men some men may enjoy it. You never know. Um,
I'm not saying they don't, but
The
broadly
majority.
speaking, broadly speaking, there are, you know, it's not like women, men, but the middle between the two groups with the Venn diagram is not quite in the same spot. There are minor
mm.
differences, what I was, right?
Do you think that just on this subject of makeup in particular, do you think that women I mean, I think that women wear makeup a lot more due to societal standards and expectations than necessarily one wanting to.
Well, I didn't necessarily say makeup either, but grooming and um,
Well, women are
I
all
don't know.
supposed to look pretty all the time, right?
Well, they don't want to look ratty even if there's no men around. Like a group of all women aren't gonna just say, fuck it, and let
I s-
personal hygiene go to shit if even, right?
well, I would say that holds true for men too. Men don't want to look like shit all the time either.
I mean, less
right.
so.
You get up and wash your
Yeah,
face. Make sure
yeah,
you look presentable.
yeah. But I mean, it's a
Um,
glance in the mirror and then a step out the door for a big chunk of male population. Um,
I think there's a big chunk of women that are that way too.
um,
Okay. I know that I'm not gonna win this, so I'm like, what do you want from me except just to make me
he was giving up.
uncomfortable here?
I'm not trying to make you
um,
say anything. I'm just pointing out that not
No.
all women are like that.
Yeah,
Mark, there's something
Just like
you
not
sent me
all
that I
men are
just
like
sent
that.
you.
not all men. Yeah. Like, have you heard of the look smaxers? Like these
Yes.
Zoomer kid guys who are like,
Smashing themselves in the face with a hammer. Yes, I have. I actually watched a documentary about that the other day.
yeah, I did too.
Did
We
not see
probably
that.
watched the same documentary. It was on
Probably
Wait,
so.
Hulu.
you said
Was it on?
Yep,
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, it's ridiculous.
very.
But
I didn't see that.
whatever. If they do what they want to themselves, it's just like
It's a
any.
free world. Well,
I
free
mean,
country.
it's
Um,
I don't, I don't
Mark,
know.
there's an article you sent me that I wanted you to break down for me. I didn't quite understand it, but I sent it to you. And any DM you can find, I sent to all your DMs
Okay.
some way, somehow.
Um, can I get a pee break real quick first? Because I
Go
got,
ahead.
yeah, crossing my legs here.
Um, so back to you, Andrea. I had to look up the differences between the brains because I wanted to prove them wrong. Uh, Obviously, I mean, I didn't understand what he was talking about because now we're here. But yeah, it says men's and women's brains exhibit statistical, structural, and functional differences. Though they are more similar than different, men's brains are generally larger and have more front to back connectivity, while women have a higher proportion of gray matter and stronger interhemispheric connectivity. These differences relate to cognitive strengths such as language and emotion in women and spatial skills in men. So that's kind of different than what Mark just said. I think he said we don't have cognitive differences, right?
I think so, but I'm not going to quote him on it.
I think he hears me, so quote
Probably
me on
so.
this. um, so yeah, there's some structural and cognitive differences. Um, yeah, a lot more that there was about women than I knew about. But
That's because women are awesome.
yeah, you got that. Um, but I read this article here. I was going to wait for Mark, but we'll read the one from Stanford. It says when Naral Shah decided in 1998 to study sex based differences in the whole brain using up to the minute molecular tools, he didn't have a ton of competition, but he did have a good reason. He says, I wanted to find and explore neural circuits and regulate specific behaviors, says Shah. The newly minted Caltech PhD, who was beginning postdoctoral fellowship at Columbia. So he zeroed in on sex associated with behavioral differences in mating, parenting, and aggression. These behaviors are essential for survival and propagation, says Shah, MD, PhD, now a Stanford professor of psychiatry and behavioral sciences and a neurobiology. They're innate rather than learned, at least in animals. So the circuitry involved ought to be developmentally hardwired into the brain. These circuits should differ depending on the sex you're looking at. His plan was what he could what he could about the activity and the genes tied to behaviors that differ from sex to sex, then use that knowledge to help identify the neuron circuits, clusters of nerve cells in close communication with another, underlying behaviors. At the time, this was not universally popular idea. The neuroscience community had largely considered any observed sex associated differences in cognition and behavior in humans to be due to efforts of cultural influences. Animal researchers, for their part, seldom even bothered to use
Yeah.
female rodents for their experiment, figuring that the
Hmm.
Cyclical.
cyclical variations in their reproductive hormones would introduce confounding variability into the search of fundamental neurological insights. But over the past 15 years or so, there's been a sea change as new technologies have generated a growing pile of evidence that there are inherent differences in how men's and women's brain are wired and how they work. Not how well they work, mind you. Our differences don't mean one sex or the other is better or smarter or more deserving. Some researchers have grappled with changes of neurosexism, falling prey to stereotypes or being too quick to interpret human sex differences as biological rather than cultural. The counter, however, that data from animal research, cross cultural surveys, natural experiments, and brain imaging studies demonstrate real, if not always earth shaking, brain differences, and that these differences may contribute to differences in behavior and cognition. All right. Um, yeah, we got a little differences. Men's brains are bigger, I just read. Did not know that. Uh,
Yeah, bigger but not smarter, right?
I'm not saying we're smarter. Didn't say that.
No, right? I know you didn't. I'm just pointing out bigger, not smarter, right?
Yeah.
Women's got denser gray matter, more interconnectivity. So there, right? That doesn't mean they're smarter either. Um, that just means that there's differences, different brains for, you know, the two different sexes. It makes sense. It explains in some ways a lot of the differences in behavior. Um, particularly differences in behavior that cross cultural boundaries, you know. Um, so yeah, it's a um, the brain is fascinating, and
Yeah. Speaking of the
our
brain,
our knowledge of it is only going to improve, which is good, um, because it is a gigantic mystery right now. What we do
I
know
got
is just a tiny little scratch on the surface.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
um I got something here. When you were speaking about the brain,
Mm,
uh, it came from an article in 2017 about I was looking up lab grown humans and
but
seeing if it was possible, and it says tiny brains grown in lab could become conscious and feel pain, and we're not ready. Lab grown brain tissue is too simple to experience consciousness, but as innovation progresses, neuroscientists question whether it's time to revisit the ethics of this line of research. Some scientists argue that miniature models of the brain grown in the lab could soon become conscious, and our current regulations don't acknowledge that. Scientists are getting closer to growing human brains in labs, and it's spurring the ethical debate over the welfare of these lab reared tissues. The debate surrounds brain organoids, and that's in quote, which
mm,
are sometimes mistaken for sci fi inspired brains in a box.
mm,
However, these small symbols of brain tissue grown from stem cells are too simple to function like real human brain. As such, scientists have assumed brain organoids lack consciousness, which has led to lax research regulations. Some scientists, however, have a different view. We feel that in the fear of the hype of science fiction inspired exaggeration and pendulum has swung too far in the opposite direction. Christopher Wood, a bioethics researcher at, can't read that, Chejiang University of China, told Live Science in an email in a perspective piece published September 12th in the journal Patterns. Wood and his colleagues argue that technological advances may soon lead to creation of conscious organoids. The authors say regulations regarding the organoids should be reviewed. It would be unethical for a conscious organoid to experience its own human interests or feel pain, said Boyd Lomax, a neuroscientist at Johns Hopkins University. But reigning in consciousness, not to be straightforward. Consciousness is difficult to define. The stem cells used to make brain organoids grow side by side, and lack of complex organization when they cultured into 2D surface like a dish, but when they're grown in solid gel or spinning bioreactor that keeps the cells aloft, they adopt 3D anatomical networks that resemble what's seen in the embryonic brain. Although the development 3D brain organoids are too simple to be conscious. Some neuroscientists argue consciousness in the brain arises from different regions of the organ communicate, but organoids resemble one single part of the brain, and none of these lab-grown mini brains are larger than 0.16 inches, which is 4 milliliters in diameter, suggests Oh, suggesting important faculties of consciousness are missing. People often think of conscious in humans or animals as a state of being aware of oneself. However, we think of consciousness in organoids as a basic level of sensations, the capacity to feel pain and pleasure, said Andrea Lavazzi, a moral philosopher at ethicist at Pagasso University in Italy. Most neuroscientists define consciousness as self awareness and the ability to feel, experience something. Allison Moreau, a neuroscientist at University of California, San Diego, told Live Science in an email, but there is no universal agreed upon definition, he said. Some definitions of consciousness focus on the brain's ability to focus and respond to its environment through senses like sight and hearing. Brain organoids are cultured outside the body and cannot receive such signals, Lavazi noted. But in the future, more advanced organoids could still theoretically experience pain, and humans' membranes envelope envelope the brain, called uh, meninges, meninges.
Meninge,
Um,
yeah, let's just move on.
I think it's meninges.
yeah,
Meninges.
meninges.
Hmm,
Okay,
hmm,
see, Mark, that's the woman brain for us.
okay.
Anyhow, the menin whatever it is, contains neurons that send pain signals to the organ. The worry is same could be possible in more sophisticated organoids. On the flat, Boyd argued that if an organoid has the internal neural architecture necessary for representing pain, then no external signal would be required. So there need not be pain signal from the neuron for pain to occur. This is how phantom pains arise in pain in people who have lost their limbs. Wood noted, however, that it's unclear whether an organoid could experience something tantamount to phantom pain, as this might depend on the memory of the lost limb. So, in word, it's complicated. How do you measure consciousness? The perspective piece pointed out that even in humans, scientists don't have great methods of objectively measuring consciousness. Lavazi said, the only way to definitely detect consciousness is in to ask a person what they are feeling. That doesn't mean the people who can't communicate. Wait, yeah, that doesn't mean people who can't communicate lack of consciousness, but definitely measuring it is more difficult. A comatose patients In comatose patients or people with locked-in syndrome, a neurological condition that paralyzes the body and makes communication extremely challenging, doctors rely on indirect signals such as electrical brain activity, Lomax said. Via this activity can only infer consciousness, not reproduce a definitive measurement. Another measure involves per I don't know that word, PERTURBATIONAL, complexity, uh,
Perturbation.
perturbational, never heard it before. Okay, perturbational complexity, which assesses the complexity of the brain signals produced in response to a stimulus, such as the magnetic field being applied to the scalp. Doctors doctors judge that the more complex the patterns of neuronal firing, the more likely the patient is conscious, Lomax said. But some indirect signals of consciousness, including perturbational complexity, can be seen even in neurons grown in a dish. He emphasized that suggests they are not good indicators of the phenomenon. Okay, yeah. So I learned four different words there. But
Anyone
yeah,
else
they're
find it
growing a
just
brain.
creepy? Yeah, does anyone else just find that creepy that they're growing brains in petri dishes?
I found it
Not,
interesting. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mark.
I mean, I don't find it that disturbing. It makes sense, um, given um, what can be learned from that sort of thing, you know? Um, and the ethics of studying it in vivo is certainly, I mean, in no way questionable. It is unethical. So, um, yeah, I don't know. If not in the dishes, then what? It's the potential and the tool of yeah, the potential of the tool is far greater than um, anything that um, that like an animal model, I think, would be able to provide, studying the human brain tissue itself in the petri dish rather than mouse models, dog models, rabbit models.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
they got to get the information somewhere. But yeah, I feel you more. Go ahead.
but I mean, that doesn't make it okay, right? There's been a lot of unethical
Yeah.
experimentation that we are all like benefiting from. Um, I mean, there was a lot of attention drawn to Nazi human experimentation during World War II, not as much to uh, Japan and what was going on over there across the Pacific. But if you don't mind some very disturbing content, should look up Unit 731. Um, it was a labor camp and site of human experimentation where the Japanese were um, basically using Chinese people in mass for um, experiments of all sort, um, like intended to kill them, um, designed from the start to be lethal. Um, like how long does it take for a person to die of dehydration when they're strapped to a table underneath a big hot fan blowing air at them? Like, what potential medical benefit can you learn from that? I don't know, but they did it. And a lot of the chief scientists from Unit 731 were given uh, uh, amnesty and smuggled across the ocean to the United States in order to get, it's like bring your human experimentation data with you, come to the United States instead of the USSR, and we won't put you on trial and kill you for your clearly unethical war crimes that everybody involved knows that you personally were responsible for. And so, yeah, we got a few Japanese scientists um, out of the deal, and all of their lab notes. We learned a lot about syphilis. Um,
That's a funny word to come and talk about.
I
Uh,
mean, eh,
it just makes my mind wander. But yeah,
well,
uh,
yeah, but it's yeah, what they were doing, um, forcing male prisoners to rape female prisoners in order to infect them with syphilis for the experiment to continue, forcing them to rape pregnant women to see what the effect of syphilis infection has on the development of a fetus, and then kill both of them
uh,
in a vivisection to inspect the results of the fetus. Cut it right out of the woman while she's alive. Don't give her any anesthetic. Why would you? She's expendable. She was from the start. That was the whole point.
we were
So,
talking about animals, right?
no, human.
No,
Oh,
humans.
Yeah, 730. We had
okay.
731. Yeah, this was all human experimentation.
That's
And
interesting.
the US got the lab notes. I forget what yeah, it's similar to Project Paperclip and the Nazi scientists that were smuggled over to escape war crime trials in Europe. That's how we got a lot of scientists that ended up helping found NASA. A lot of early rocket scientists came over from the German V2 project, um, and helped our space agency. Uh, the Soviet Union did the same though. They were trying to smuggle those same scientists over the other direction into the east. We wanted them in the west. I can't help but imagine that the living conditions for the ones who got smuggled into America is far better than any of them living under the Soviet Union. But yeah, it's some pretty morbid stuff. Um, so yeah, a bit of um um what disconnected uh human brain tissue in a jar in a petri dish by comparison. I
Mm.
don't see how that's even really a
Definitely
question.
less definitely less disturbing than that, but
Yeah.
it's still just
I don't see how it can be like, I don't know.
get the I
I
get
think that those, sorry.
no, I was just gonna say I get like why they do it. I don't know.
It seems like the I don't know.
Mm.
The why
Um,
seems more like they just wanted some attention to their field of study that nobody had heard of before reading this article. Um, like I don't I don't know. I don't see
um,
how it's like,
um, Everybody out there watching, press that thumbs up button and subscribe. Press the little bell and it'll tell you to come back when we go live next. But when it comes to synthetic human embryos, I found an article because I've been looking for lab grown humans and I find all kinds of stuff about people trying to grow humans.
That's
But
been
I got an article here and it says synthetic human embryos can created in groundbreaking advance. This was an article 2 years ago, so it is old, but I found it interesting. It says exclusive breakthrough could aid research into genetic disorders, but raise serious ethological and legal issues. I'm sorry. Scientists have created synthetic human embryos using stem cells and a groundbreaking advance to that sidesteps the nerd for eggs or sperm. Scientists say that these model embryos, which resemble those in the earliest stages of human development, could provide a crucial window on impact of genetic disorders and the biological causes of recurrent miscarriage. However, the work also raises serious ethical issues and legal issues as the lab grown entities fall outside current legislation in the UK and most other countries. The structures do not have a beating heart or the beginnings of a brain, but include cells that would typically go on to form a placenta, yolk sac, and the embryo itself. Professor Magdalena Zernica Goetz of the University of Cambridge and California Institute of Technology described the work on a plenary address on Wednesday at the International Society for Stem Cell Research annual meeting in Boston. We can create human embryos like models by reprogramming of embryonic stem cells, she told the meeting. There is no near-term prospect of synthetic embryos being used clinically. It would be illegal to implant them into a patient's womb, and it is maturing beyond the earliest stages of development. The motivation for work is for scientists to understand that black box period of development that is so called because scientists are only allowed to cultivate embryos in a lab up to a legal limit of 14 days. They then pick up the course of development much further along by looking at pregnancy scans and embryos donated for research. Robin Lovell Badge, the head of stem cell biology and developmental genetics at Francis Crick Institute in London. The idea that is if you really model normal human embryonic development using stem cells, you can gain an awful lot of information about how we begin development, what can go wrong without having to use early embryos for research. Previously, Zarnica Zarnica Goetz team and rival team and a rival group at Weizmann Institute in Israel showed that stem cells from mice could be encouraged to self-assemble into early embryo-like structures within intestinal tract at the beginnings of the brain and a beating heart. Since then, the race has been underway to translate this into human models, and several teams have been able to replicate the very earliest stages of development. The full details of the latest work from the Cambridge Caltech lab are yet to be published in a journal paper, but speaking at the conference, Zarnica described cultivating the embryos to a stage just beyond the equivalent of 14 days of development for a natural embryo. The model structures, each grown from a single embryonic stem cell, reached the beginning of developmental milestone known as gastrulational gastrulation, when the embryo transforms from being a continuous sheet of cells to forming distinct cell lines and setting up the basic axis of the body. At this stage, the embryo does not yet have a beating heart, gut, or beginnings of the brain, but the model showed the presence of primordial cells and that
Primordial?
are primordial. Okay. Uh, primordial cells that are the precursor cells of EEG and sperm. Our human model is the first three lineage human embryo model that specifies amnion and germ cells, precursor cells of egg and sperm. Zarnica told The Guardian before the talk. It's beautiful and created entirely from embryonic stem cells. The development highlights how rapidly the science in this field has outpaced the law, and scientists in the UK and elsewhere are already moving to draw up voluntary guidelines to govern work on synthetic embryos. If the whole intention is that these models are very much like normal embryos, then in a way they should be treated the same. Level Badge said. Currently in legislation, they are not currently in legislation, they are not. People are worried about this. There are also significant unanswered questions on whether these structures, in theory, have potential to grow into a living creature. Hmm. These synthetic embryos grown from mouse cells were reported to appear almost identical to natural embryos, but when they were implanted into wombs of female mice, they did not develop into live animals. In April, researchers in China created synthetic embryos from monkey cells and implanted them into wombs of adult monkeys, a few of which showed the initial signs of pregnancy, but none of which continued to develop beyond a few days. Scientists say it is not clear whether the barrier of more advanced developmental is merely technical or has more fundamental biological cause. That's very difficult to answer. It's going to be hard to tell whether there's an intrinsic problem or them or whether it's just technological. Level Badge said this unknown potential may need for stronger legislation pressing, he said. All right, that is it. Um, yeah, very long, but what if we can put an egg that doesn't have a, I guess it doesn't have a, it just has the person to go in. Does that mean that egg doesn't have a father?
It would not have a
Or
mother
in,
either.
mm, that's interesting. So it won't look
I
like the
mean,
person it's
if
coming
we
out of.
say it doesn't have a father, then it wouldn't have a mother either, except just in terms of surrogacy. No biological mother, no biological father. So what
Mm,
DNA would that thing be operating under? Um,
Where would they get the cells in the first
right.
place?
yeah, I mean, they're starting, I guess, with
I don't know.
embryonic stem cells, so just a blank slate, but how do they get the leap from some embryonic stem cells to the, um, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a biologist. I'm not, I
Mhm.
don't know. But I don't know. I don't think.
You don't think they're
Well,
going to eventually do it?
why are they trying? What is it? Why? What?
No idea, but it seems interesting to have someone with no parent. Well, not that particular no parents, but someone who doesn't have official mother or father. Um, I thought that
There's
part was interesting. I read it a few days ago.
there's
Hey,
no shortage of human breeding population. Why would we need any help?
Why is a good question.
What?
What are they hoping to gain from this?
mm, just to probably say they did it,
I guess.
just to say it
Or
was possible.
if they're using it as a workaround to the current regulations, which sounds possible too. I don't know. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't I don't know. I don't see why they're doing it. I don't. Yeah, I'm struggling to think of a need for it
Of a
except to
reason.
circumvent the current regulations. And so I guess that would be a good reason to bring it up if those regulations should still apply in this case. Um, I don't know. I don't.
Um, there was another thing here that you sent me a while back. I've been trying to get you to read it for a while. Uh, 3 Mile Island nuclear plant will reopen to power Microsoft data centers.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
yes. So that's something I think um is pretty interesting. Um, in pop culture psyche, the name 3 Mile Island brings up, you know, scary, scary imagery, fear, emotions. So, hearing 3 Mile Island will reopen, uh, sounds kind of scary to a lot of people. I'm sure. I was kind of excited about it though, honestly. But,
you gonna read
yeah,
it?
huh?
You gonna read the article to us?
Yes, I'm prepared. This is all laying up, and I had the whole thing
Oh,
all built up,
I was
and
ready.
then you just go and interrupt my flow, man. Come on, give me a minute to introduce it.
Get comfortable. Go ahead.
Yeah, why this is so interesting here, but yeah. So 3 Mile Island, the power plant near Middletown, PA. That was the scene of the worst commercial nuclear accident in U.S. history, will reopen to power Microsoft's data centers, which are responsible for powering the tech giant's cloud computing and artificial intelligence programs. Constellation Energy, which bills itself as America's largest producer of clean carbon-free energy, announced Friday that it had signed its largest ever power purchase agreement with Microsoft. Powering industries critical to our nation's global economic and technological competitiveness, including data centers, requires an abundance of energy that is carbon-free and reliable every hour of every day. And nuclear plants are the only energy sources that can consistently deliver on that promise, said Joe Dominguez, Constellation Energy's president and CEO. The deal will pop up. Damn it. Okay, the deal will create approximately 3,400 jobs and bring in more than $3 billion in state and federal taxes, according to the company. It also said the agreement will add $16 billion to Pennsylvania's GDP. The agreement will span 20 years, and the plant is expected to reopen in 2028. It will be renamed Crane Clean Energy Center in honor of Chris Crane, who died in April and served as the CEO of Constellation's former parent company. Pennsylvania's nuclear energy industry plays a critical role in providing safe, reliable, carbon-free electricity that helps reduce emissions and grow Pennsylvania's economy, uh, Governor Josh Shapiro said. Unlike power plants using fossil fuels like coal or natural gas, nuclear plants do not directly release carbon dioxide or other greenhouse gas emissions, driving global warming. The partial nuclear reactor meltdown at 3 Mile Island happened on March 28, 1979, when one of the plant's two reactors' cooling mechanisms malfunctioned. The reactor that will be reopened to power Microsoft's data centers was not involved in the accident. Before it was prematurely shuttered due to poor economics, this plant was among the safest and most reliable nuclear plants on the grid, and we look forward to bringing it back with a new name and a renewed mission to serve as an economic engine for Pennsylvania. However, some state activists are worried that taxpayers would foot the bill for the plant's reopening. State Impact Pennsylvania reported. What would be a better investment for our money? That's the question we should be asking. We were told, let the marketplace decide, the market decided, and they decided it's not nuclear, said Eric Epstein of the watchdog group 3 Mile Island Alert. Um, yeah, well, that was decades ago. It's different now. But anyway, 3 Mile Island's working reactor was shut down in 2019 after a legislative effort to bail out the plant failed when it could not keep up with demand for other cheaper energy sources. Former Microsoft CEO Bill Gates invested $1 billion in a nuclear plant that broke ground in Cameron, Wyoming in June. The plant will power homes and AI, Gates told NPR's Steve Inskeep. So, yeah, shut it down better part of a decade ago. Um, when it could not keep up with demand for other cheaper energy sources. The power market is entirely different after uh, the rise of generative AI and the demand on the power grid that it puts. So ever since 2021, the marketplace for energy in the country is entirely different. So, um, Mr. Epstein of Watchdog Group 3 Mile Island Alert, you don't know what you're talking about. Um, yeah. Um, what? I don't know. The uh, the demand for data centers is only going up. It's only increasing. The demand from Microsoft's data center that is putting in that area is going to stay consistent. It's only going to go up. It's not going to go down. So I don't know why, except because nuclear scary. Ooh. Um,
I love the sound effects.
yeah. I mean,
Right.
it's not as scary without them, you know. But I don't know. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts on uh reopening 3 Mile Island?
uh, I see what's here, but didn't see the big pros and cons of it. Uh, because I'd be open to it, but I don't know how it's affecting the people there.
Yeah. Well, it's an NPR article, so it's going to veer hard left, and they're not going to give you any pros for nuclear. They're not going to give you the truth about the power grid. They're going to push an agenda. And notice how many times they say clean energy, carbon free, zero emissions, right? Um, yeah.
um, when you said it's gonna veer hard left, you pointed to your right. I'm just throwing it out there.
Oh yeah, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, but there's another
Well,
article you
okay,
sent me,
so I was
and
thinking reality is over to the right of where they're veering, right? How's that for a weasel job?
wow.
Yeah.
um, yeah, Mark, you got me. You find some way out. Uh, but I was gonna move topics to something else. Something
Oh,
else you sent me.
okay.
I'm getting rid of everything you're sending me,
Flush it
and
all out.
forcing you to.
It's okay if we don't talk
Yep.
about everything I send because I do stumble across a lot.
No, it's all right. Send it back to
Um,
you. Yeah, it's all right.
uh, where
But
is
yeah, I sent you that thing right there that you just sent me. Well, you sent it to me a while back. But want to read that one? Big Oil just built a hybrid engine that embarrasses
okay.
mainstream automakers. Go ahead. It's all up to you.
Ba-ba-bum.
And it was in April of this year. So it's a newer article.
Yeah. Let's see. Uh, well, the Saudi Arabian oil company, better known as Aramco, just built a powertrain that makes a Toyota Prius look like a 1960s muscle car. Um,
It's
I don't
a
know.
funny way to start.
That could we, I mean, yeah, that first sentence, I don't know if that's like, do they mean that they just made a really, really slow, low powered, you know, shitty
Sounds like it.
engine that, I think that they're trying to build up the efficiency of it, but they didn't mention efficiency at all there. I don't know. We'll read past the first
Definitely an
sentence,
interesting
I guess.
statement.
Yeah, we'll read past the first sentence, I guess. Let's see where they uh, developed by the Detroit-based Aramco America's subsidiary, the compact naturally aspirated three-cylinder could be a revolutionary way to convert existing combustion platforms to electrification or help automakers repurpose slow-selling EVs into range-extended plugins. Best of all, the DHE or dedicated hybrid engine doesn't really use that much complicated electric engineering, uh, or that much complicated engineering. Where did I get electric from? Uh, Focusing on simple refinements and a very specific combustion cycle to achieve 25% greater efficiency than existing gas electric vehicles. What are they doing? The Aramco mill isn't intended to directly drive the vehicle's wheels, instead relying on electric motors mounted on either end of the transverse drive shaft to power the right and left tires. Unlike the similar powertrain layouts on extended range electric vehicles or series hybrids, the DHE was designed from the outset for a hybrid specific use case, eliminating the compromises that are inherent to engines that are adapted from pure combustion to electric assist. Even Toyota's hybrid synergy drive powertrains rely on gas engines used in non hybrid vehicles, meaning there are some compromises to their design. The DHE, meanwhile, operates within a very closely defined rev range that relies neither on low end torque or high end power, meaning output and efficiency can be balanced ideally. That specific use case makes extra intake and exhaust valves redundant, meaning the three-cylinder motor has just six valves in total, operated by low-tech but reliable and energy-efficient push rods. As a result, the valve train is more compact, less expensive, and less complex than similar cam-driven four-valve per cylinder layouts found on most modern small displacement engines. The more compact cylinder head means Aramco's Detroit-based engineers could give each cylinder a longer stroke, improving thermal efficiency. Okay. The DHE is also a scalable engine design. In addition to the prototype 1.6 liter inline 3, the tech could easily be adapted to a 1.1 inline 2. Those two of those engines could be joined at the hip to create a 2.3 liter V4, while two three bangers could become a 3.2 liter V6. According to Motor Trend, when Aramco tested the inline 3 in a in a Camry-sized four-door sedan. It recognized that turbocharging could be used to improve power generation without sacrificing that much efficiency. Really? You don't say. Furthermore, the engine's dry sump compatible oil system would allow it to be positioned flat, meaning it could fit under an SUV's cargo floor. That's interesting. Or the bed of a truck or four-wheel drive traction. Or the bed of a truck for four-wheel drive traction. There we go. And since each drive wheel takes marching orders from a single electric motor, there's no need for a transmission, axle, or differential. Once again, cutting down on the powertrain space requirements. The minimized complexity also means less maintenance, no more axle seats, CV joints, or hub assemblies. And the engine's very particular duty cycle should also provide reduced wear and tear and oil degradation. The idea came from the fittingly named Nyan engineer, senior combustion specialist in engine and fuel research at Aramco. Is that a person's name? Nyan
Aramco?
N Nayyan engineer,
Hmm.
and then engineer.
Possible.
Capital N, capital E. Is there are there people walking around with the last name engineer? Is that
Not
why
that
It
I've
it's
ever
kind of
heard
fittingly
makes
of.
it look
named?
that way,
Yeah, it seems like
Yeah.
especially
I
following
mean,
it with
that's
senior
pretty cool.
combustion specialist.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty cool. If that's his real name. The DHE comes with lots of goals resting on its shoulders, including easier and cheaper production, less energy wasted as heat, and of course, greater fuel efficiency. Engineer and his team, yeah. Cool. Okay. Engineer and his team pitched so could we call it the engineer team? Engineer team? Yeah, okay. Anyway, pitched the DHE to French motorsport manufacturer Pipo Motors, which selected a deliberately small technical team to the project that allowed it to come together quickly and without a lot of corporate red tape. Sorry, my eyes are having trouble following these lines all of a sudden. There are people who love EVs and for good reason, but tucked away in their garage is often a trusty old conventional engine car, engineer said. Hybrids can span this difference. The lead technical designer touts the DHE's impressive range flexibility and EV typical response and performance as the best of both worlds. Although, to be fair, the added weight of a gas engine leads to reduced energy efficiency overall compared to a purely electric powertrain. Still, recent sales trends have made one thing clear. Most American consumers aren't ready to go completely plug-in, preferring the flexibility of gassing up anywhere from down the street to across the country. Yeah. So, wait, oh, does it keep going? Is there more?
Looks like it.
Oh my
Seems
gosh, it
seems
keeps
so.
going way longer. Okay. I thought that was
Oh,
um where was I? Okay. Engineer bona fides.
plug
Because
and
it
play
dropped that
powertrains
related
are
thing
showing
right
up
there.
everywhere.
Yeah. Aramco's new powertrain is clearly an eye-opener, but it's not the only such solution to appear from a company that doesn't build cars. Horse Powertrain has announced a few projects in recent months, including small engines to serve as range extending mills for electric vehicles. Magna International, one of the largest automotive suppliers in the world, just revealed a new type of transmission that incorporates a single electric motor, essentially giving automakers a bolt-on hybrid system for vehicles with pure combustion engines. That's kind of interesting. Um, and
Mhm.
automakers are working hard in this space too. Audi is looking to hybrid tech to keep its iconic five-cylinder engine alive. I don't know why a 5-cylinder to begin with is kind of weird, but you know, that would be interesting. I mean, they started with the 3-cylinder right there, right? Could Audi adapt it to 5? Anyway, of course, Nissan is betting big on its e-Power hybrid powertrain, finally launching on the US next in the US on the next generation Rogue. It incorporates a gasoline engine that constantly runs but only provides electricity for a small battery. Electric motors drive the SUV, giving drivers the performance benefits of an EV with the familiarity and convenience of having a combustion engine for quick fuel stops. But why on earth would Aramco, the largest fossil fuel producer in the world, want to design such an engine which will use less gasoline and require fewer oil changes? Although it's tempting to label the DHE's route as purely altruistic, the reality is that more efficient internal combustion powertrains are just good business for the company by keeping more people using gas instead of switching to EVs. If future hybrids actually attain the 25 to 30% improved fuel efficiency Aramco claims for its new engine design, that would mean a Ford Maverick that gets 48 miles per gallon or a Toyota Prius that exceeds 64. Even if the full-size F-150 Power Boost could get, or even the F-150 Power Boost could get close to 30 mpg. Those numbers would make it easier for folks to continue using internal combustion vehicles, even if gas prices continue to rise, especially if it means not having to adapt their habits. Install at home. Okay, excuse me. Especially if it means not having to adapt their habits, install at home charging equipment, or seek out public DC fast chargers. Um, While the motivation is clearly capitalist, a modular and adaptable internal combustion engine with that kind of efficiency is still going to make life a lot greener. The transverse engine layout would enable great flexibility in vehicle design, especially since the engine could be positioned upright in a conventional sedan or pancaked under the floor in a subcompact hatchback. The larger variants, meanwhile, could be used in SUVs and trucks without sacrificing towing or hauling ability, and the electric torque of the brake regeneration could add a measure of control that gas engines can only dream of. The Aramco DHE is an exciting proposition that we hope comes to market very soon. There we go. That's the end.
Yes, it is.
Thoughts?
I feel sorry for the mechanics that are going to have to work on them.
Really?
It's a lot of electronics.
Yeah.
And the electronic shit is always the hardest to figure out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you were a mechanic. Um, yeah, I'd like to hear your opinion on this because yeah,
I'm not that much of a mechanic and I've forgotten more than I ever learned. So, yeah, all the electronic shit gets so complicated and expensive.
Mm.
But I mean,
mm,
I agree we need to get away from gas because we're killing the planet. But
yeah, that's what I was.
um, it's just a lot of tech.
Go green.
And
It's
I don't
gonna
like
take.
the regular EVs just for the fact of the charging and, if you're going on a long trip, you don't want to have to stop and sit there and wait for your car to charge. But the hybrid thing is kind of cool.
Mm,
I don't know. It's interesting. That's what I got to say about it. It's interesting.
It is. Yeah. Um,
It makes me want to send it to my friend.
you'll save gas. I sent this
I
to you
would
so you could send it to your friend if you want to.
Where'd you send it to me at?
The chat?
I thought
Send
so.
it to me. Send it to, is it in like the morning show chat?
The Zoom chat.
Oh, I
Yeah, I
can't
could
copy
drop it
that to
in.
my phone and
I could drop it into Reddit.
yeah, do that
Um,
because then I can copy it and send it to him. He's much smarter than me.
um, yeah, you said this is a gas company, Aramco.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're building their competition.
Saudi
They
Aramco
are.
is the royal state-owned um, gas, oil and gas company. Um, so the yeah, um, it's um,
What are your thoughts on it, Mark?
it's cool. It's interesting. Um, it makes a lot of sense. Uh, I feel like I remember something like this a while ago, or not a while, not that long ago, actually. Um, well, yeah, it was a while ago. I thought I remembered a like endurance racer, and it might even have been Audi that had a Le Mans endurance prototype car that it was like a diesel electric, and the diesel I thought was just charging the battery, and it was like basically purely electric. But I am very likely wrong about that because it has been a long time since I was really into those motorsports to that degree.
It just seems to me like you have one little glitch in some computer somewhere and your whole car's fucked.
Mm.
Um,
The R18 Le Mans prototype. Yeah, the Audi R18 uses a TDI turbocharged diesel engine, 3.7 liter V6. Oh. Anyway, yeah, it's um I don't think that pure electric is really going to be the norm for a while because there's just not the infrastructure, and it doesn't seem like there's the pressure to build out the infrastructure that there has been in the past. And I think that there's greater economic pressure on um, the power companies to build out uh, and scale up, gearing towards data center support than to, you know, putting um, quick chargers around, you know, out in the boonies so that people driving across the country can feel confident that they're not going to get stranded by the side of a highway in the middle of nowhere with no way to even go and like hitch a ride and fill up a gas can and come back and get out. Like you gotta, and the even if there are those chargers there, you gotta stay for a while as it charge. It batteries don't charge like, you know, It's much easier to just pump some, fuel into a tank. And so, yeah, if you're going to be using fuel, then yeah, using it to charge a battery, if the batteries are the best way to, well, using it to charge a battery if the electric is seen as the best way to move forward. But something I'm not sure if they're taking into account, well, actually, now that I think about it, something I know that they're not taking into account in this article is the way that these, they're just looking at the pure fuel efficiency calculations there. They're not necessarily considering uh, how often would they really even need to. Well, no, if these are only going to be, I don't know. If they're going to be just like quick around the town type of vehicles, then a pure electric might be a bit more um, um, practical or better. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of issues with any design. There's no free lunch, is as the saying in or at least that's what I recall being the saying in engineering school back in the day. I don't know what you know, the no free lunch theorem. We can't get a performance gain in one aspect of the design without making a sacrifice in another aspect uh, of a design. There's no just free giveaway, gimme improvement. Um, I mean,
Well,
barring some complete revolution and obsolescence of the current paradigm, you know.
well, and batteries don't last forever. What are we going to do with all the batteries when they wear out?
Yeah, especially with all the
Mm.
wear and tear, like cold weather really puts a strain on these batteries, really, reduces their capacity significantly, slows their charging, and massively increases the degradation of these batteries. So cold weather is a hard hit on electric vehicles practicality. And they're not going to tell you that before you buy one.
No.
They're going to let you figure
Right.
Well,
that out for yourself. Um,
and
but
I believe that Tesla puts their batteries, I may be wrong, but I think they put them all on the undercarriage of the vehicle, which to me is just asking to damage your battery because of, road debris or something. And
or
then your
just bottoming
batteries,
out, going over a speed bump that's too tall.
right. And then you have a damaged battery, and that's
Hmm.
thousands of dollars to replace. And then you got to do something with the battery, and it's not all that good for the planet to have a bunch of batteries laying around either.
Yeah, or to be, continually replacing them. I mean, the
Right.
manufacturing process, strip mining for lithium over in China, but uh, we're environmentally clean by using these vehicles as long as we're not seeing the strip
The
mining
destruction.
happening in our borders. We
Right.
out of sight, out of climate stat calculations. Uh, it's
But like you said, it's a give and take. You get one thing, but you lose another. They're not looking at the whole picture.
but I mean, it's also not really possible to characterize the whole picture in statistics.
Very
You
true.
know, you can kind of, all you can really do is just say, here's some info.
Right. Definitely everything has pros and cons.
Yeah. Um, yeah. But the laying flat I thought was interesting. That's kind of a um yeah, there
Yeah.
haven't been many um um like flat I mean low center of gravity would be good. Help with handling and stability. So um that's kind of an interesting idea. And if it's uh laying flat and like slim enough to be able to fit underneath the like
Red of a truck or
the bed the yeah um yeah that would yeah interesting that would open up a lot of possibility to like change the layout design of everything, right? If you don't have to have an engine in front of you that you have to see over, then you can build your vehicle however you want. It's like those swamp buggies. You can put the driver way out hanging over the front axle.
it'll be great when you rear in somebody.
You'll see it coming.
Right.
Yes, you will.
Um, I don't know how much you guys keep up with this guy Mark Zuckerberg, but I had an article on him.
I tried to
Said
pay as
everyone
little
is.
attention to him as possible. He still
I
pops
thought
up
you would say
in the
that.
news feed. Yeah, he still pops up every once in a while. It's impossible to avoid him, but yeah,
Unfortunately.
yeah.
I got something on him. It says everyone is unhappy. Meta employees describe a grim environment as company reportedly prepares to axe roughly 8,000 workers. It's a rough time to be working at Facebook, Instagram, or one of Meta's many other properties. Mark Zuckerberg's social media giant will reportedly hand out roughly 8,000 pink slips on Wednesday, May 20th, eliminating about 10% of its global workforce. Notably, though, these cuts will arrive on the heels of one of the most lucrative quarters in the company's history, 56.31 billion in revenue and 26.8 billion in net income for the first 3 months of 2026. Per
He
Meta's
wants a bigger
Q1 earnings
bonus.
file, for many Meta employees, that stark contrast is apparently driving morale into the dirt, according to a fresh report from Wired, which interviewed more than a dozen current or former Meta employees. Vibes at the company are way off, of course, are way off course. According to one Instagram employee, and quote, everyone is unhappy. The only people who are not unhappy are literally executives. Several staffers told Wired they are openly hoping to be laid off, if only to collect 16 weeks and 18 months of paid health care that come with it. Massive profits and cuts to match. In a memo first reported by Bloomberg, Meta's chief people officer, Janelle Gale, told staff that the layoffs would would be to help, end quote, run the company more efficiently and offset the other investments without making. Meta CFO Lucy Lee echoed that sentiment during the company's Q1 earnings call, saying that a learner operating model would help offset the company's massive capital expenditures, particularly around artificial intelligence, which will hit somewhere in the ballpark between 125 billion to 145 billion this year, a massive leap up from its 72 billion in 2025. At a recent town hall, Zuckerberg told employees the cuts were a direct consequence of AI's infrastructure costs and declined to rule out further reductions in second half of the year. It's highly reminiscent of what Zuckerberg had said 3 years ago when he declared 2023 to be, in quote, year Meta's year of efficiency, which led roughly to 21,000 job cuts across two waves, 11,000 layoffs in November and 10,000 more following March. According to Fortune, according to Fortune, Meta has in total cut 25,000 positions between 2022 and earlier this year. After the reported cuts this month, that cumulative toll should push above 33,000. The difference this year is that, unlike that aforementioned year of efficiency, where Meta felt it needed to course correct after a boom in hiring during the pandemic, Meta is currently operating from a dominant position. Revenue growth 33% in quarter one, Meta's fastest pace since 2021, according to CNBC. It's rough year for Silicon Valley at large. Across the tech sector, more than 135,000 workers have been laid off through the first 5 months of this year, per layoffs, FYI. As MoneyWise previously reported, Amazon, Microsoft, Alphabet, and Meta are collectively predicting to spend roughly 725 billion on AI this year, which Nvidia CEO Jensen Hung called a leadership failure, not a technology constraint. The spring of Meta employees' discontent. The complaints within Meta aren't just about impending layoff employees. Employees are still rankled by Meta's decision in February to cut the stock portion of annual raises by 5% on top of 10% trim the year before. According to Wired, median total compensation at Meta fell from 417,400 in 2024 and 388,200 in the last year. Meanwhile, Zuckerberg has been busy personally recruiting AI researchers with reported nine-figure compensation packages, some reaching 100 million to staff Meta Superintelligence Labs, the division he launched last summer under former Scale AI chief Alexander Wang. In April, Meta began deploying surveillance software called the Model Capability Initiative on the U.S. employees' work laptops. According to CNBC, the program captures keystrokes, clicks, and mouth movements and periodic screenshots from apps like Gmail and Slack to train AI agents capable of mimicking human workflows. There is no opt out. CTO Andrew Bosworth has confirmed European employees are exempt because GDPR. In response, Meta staffers at multiple offices across the US recently started handing out flyers calling Meta in quote, employee data extraction factory and pointing colleagues to an online petition. Hmm, that's it.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked up. The Meta AI employees are building their own colleagues' replacements, and we're seeing the first hints of what they've been doing the past couple of years. Like people have been saying that uh AI is
AI will take all of our
gonna
jobs.
take our jobs. Yeah. First and most vulnerable jobs to being replaced are white collar, you know, um,
But it
technical jobs.
sounded like
The ones that are lucrative to replace, that that these companies can build
Yeah.
out skilled agents specific in engineers in this field, or uh, you know uh, IT people, uh, just like lawyers. They're gonna just go for all of these highest paying fields and try to say, hey, pay us instead. We're cheaper. It's money straight into their pockets once they finish developing it. So
bigger bonuses.
yeah, yeah. I mean, oh, I don't know. And the layoffs, that's uh the whole thing is kind of frustrating. Having been there, um, yeah, impending layoffs. Yeah, of course there's no motivation to do anything at all except dig your heels in and let them make their decision, right? Uh, yeah. What are they going to do? Lay you off? Best case scenario, right? Everybody's unhappy working there, then being one of the laid off means that you're getting paid to go away. Who, like, in a job that miserable, who wouldn't, in a way, kind of want that, right? You get 18 months health
Hmm.
care paid for and severance, you know, at least 4 months severance pay, just boom, one lump payment direct deposited, and yeah, all that stock option stuff in your 401k. It's like, yeah, um, after uh, putting up with a period of time where that's hanging over you, it's like, are you gonna still have a job in 2 months or not? And it's like, nah. It's like, yeah, settle into. It's like, okay, I dare you. Like, do it. Mm. Worst case in some ways is that you still have a job, right? You still got to go to work at Meta and you're not getting paid to go away. Um, yeah, but problem though is that these white collar workers are going to become obsolete at any employer in the imminent future. So um, they may just be the longest unemployed uh, once all the dust settles with this whole workforce shakeup thing. The the tech industries, the AI industries, equivalent of the Industrial Revolution, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, there's some emotions that dug up.
Gotcha. Good or bad emotion?
Doesn't seem good.
Mm, yeah. I got another article here though. It says more than 90 Spirit Airlines aircraft worth 20 million parts were abandoned. $20 million in parts were abandoned at airports. Here's why retrieving and selling them is a challenge. With the collapse of Spirit Airlines, there's now the question of what happens to the company's assets, especially its aircraft. It's no ordinary repo operation when an airline goes out of business. Spirit Airlines shut down operations on May 2nd after struggling in recent years and filing for bankruptcy twice in 2024 and again in 2025. According to New York Times, the airline has lost billions in recent years, facing stiff competition, rising labor costs, and aircraft maintenance needs. While there were no plans in place for the airline to emerge for the second bankruptcy this summer, as a smaller company, the Times reported. Due to the spike in jet fuel prices amid the Iran war, those plans fell apart. There was also an attempt to strike a deal with the Trump administration for a 500 million lifeline, but that deal fell through. The collapse left some travelers stranded, though other airlines stepped in offering affordable rescue flights. Now the company's fleet must deal with, and it's no small task. According to a report from NPR, when Spirit ceased operations, more than 90 aircraft were left at dozens of airports around the country, while the company is hoping to liquidate its valuable assets such as engines, spare parts, and real estate. When it comes to the aircraft, NPR reported things get more complicated because the airline doesn't actually own the majority of its fleet. More than 60 aircraft, which is almost two-thirds of its active fleet, were released. Oh, were leased. What will happen to Spirit's aircrafts? Captain Robert Allen, a partner at Nomadic Aviation Group, a company that facilitates aircraft transport such as deliveries, returns, and repossessions, spoke to Fox 10 Phoenix about the operation to relocate Spirit aircraft. Some aircraft were flown to Phoenix Goodyear Airport, where they are being stored because of state's dry climate. Airplanes that sit in wet climates, they start to deteriorate, Allen said. With them to get them to Arizona, however, is a mission in and of itself. Nomadic has contracted pilots, including the pilots who recently lost their jobs when Spirit closed its doors to retrieve the abandoned aircraft. But Giordano told NPR that sometimes it isn't an easy feat as pilots aren't dressed in airline uniforms and can face resistance from the airport staff. You can go up to a person of authority and say, I need to get on that airplane. I'm repossessing it. And the first thing you're going to say is, no, 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 no. Girardiani explained. They're going to call out the sheriffs, the airport police, the airport managers, and everybody's instinct is always no. Um, I'm sorry, my eye was watering laughing at that, or trying
Yeah.
not to laugh at it as I was reading it. Ha, made me tear up.
Yeah.
I got some more to read. I'm sorry. Oh man, it says, "Will all aircraft stay in storage?" Steve Giordano, the managing partner of Nomadic Works, who works with six of the companies that own Spirit's jets, told NPR some of the aircraft are, in quote, already probably in the pipeline to be leased again. He added that other aircraft would have their engines removed and placed into other aircraft to then also be leased. NPR reported that Spirit owns 28 aircraft that it could sell, all in the Airbus A320 family, according to the court filings. Fox 10 also reported that some aircraft will likely be bought solely for their engines, which are worth between $15 million to $20 million. However, some experts told NPR because the steep cost of jet fuel, which is up 70%, Spirit might have a tougher time selling the aircraft it owns. One of the challenges for Spirit and its creditors is that high cost of jet fuel makes many of Spirit's planes less appealing to acquire. Henry Hartvadelt, I might have said that right, um, an airline analyst at Atmosphere Research Group told NPR, I think airline will find buyers. It's just maybe a slow selling cycle than had this a few years ago or even like 3 months ago. That is all. But yeah, they got airplanes sitting around other airports. Oh my goodness, that made me laugh. Try not to laugh made my eyes water. Um,
Yeah,
stranded airplanes.
I mean, at some point, what's going to happen? Like, are they going to have to park them in the equivalent of like uh, um,
Airplane graveyard.
scrapyard, an airplane scrapyard, and just let people come and pull turbine blades out of the engine when they need to fix their at home Pratt and Whitney turbine or whatever, I don't know. If those planes aren't desirable or aren't so desirable anymore because of the high cost of fuel, then even the parts might not be so desirable because those engines are going to be like if there's better fuel efficiency, it's not going to be just out of nowhere. It's going to be different engines. And so if that's the case, then who's going to keep running these anymore? So it's
Why don't they just sell the plane instead of the
because
pieces?
Nobody's gonna want it.
if nobody wants to lease it, who would want to buy it? I
Mm.
mean, if nobody's even looking to fly it, like why would they pay to own it outright?
Right, you got
I can
something.
see why this is such a big problem. Um, yeah, but the plainclothes pilots really, that's definitely, and
That's a big hill to
it's
climb.
kind of bittersweet too to think about it. Like these Spirit Airlines pilots who just got laid off are in some cases being contacted to fly their old aircraft back to an airplane graveyard. That's like twisting the knife a little bit, isn't it?
Mm.
I mean, I guess they're getting paid for it, so it's like here's some extra. Well, yeah, okay. That'll
Much of it getting paid is the question. Mm.
yeah, but I mean, getting paid at all, if you're an out of work airline pilot, there's not a lot of work being thrown your way, right? You got to go and look for
Um,
a new like, right? I don't think
I,
that there's,
I, I,
I think there's more pilots than there are airlines. So it's a competitive business.
right.
Um,
I had looked at another article and I was looking at what are they pilots gonna do? And it said that most of them are gonna start working at other airlines.
yeah.
So
They'll have
that's
to
the
get
cool part.
recertified
I
on a
mean,
different airplane, on a different type of airplane though, before they can do that if they're not flying any of this old planes.
yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, unless they can find an airline that's still running those fuel inefficient, still paying for all that extra jet fuel. Um,
Yeah.
well, that's
Because just because you're certified to fly one type of plane doesn't mean you can hop in any airplane and fly it.
Yeah, they're all different. They're yeah, that's a
Which
good
means they're
point.
probably going to have to pay for recertification on a different type of aircraft.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess there's probably
$20 million is a lot for an engine.
a lot of them would already might already be multi-aircraft certified if they were working, like
I think a
why
lot of them
not,
are.
right? If you're going to be working for an airline that even might run more than one, and a lot of them offer it as kind of an employment benefit, right? We'll pay for your certification if you come and work for us for however long, whatever
Yeah.
contract period they give. So, um, yeah, it would be foolish to not avail oneself of as much of that as you can get. Um, like, yes, please make me
Yeah.
more desirable to all of your competitors on your own dime.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And pay me for it while you're there. Pay for the
Yeah,
classes and pay
yeah,
me to do it.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Um, I also had oh, if you were done with that, I had another article I found a few days ago. I was gonna say in ice cream news,
Oh,
Ben and Jerry's Ben and Jerry's sold in 2000 with one condition. Now former partners are turning up the heat to force compliance. When Ben Cohen and Jerry Greenfield sold Ben and Jerry's to Unilever in 2000 for reported 326 million. It's a lot of ice cream. They also extracted a promise that turned out to be the most consequential clause in the deal. The brand would retain an independent board of directors, the defined purpose board, whose job was to protect its social mission, no matter who owned the company. For more than 2 decades, that arrangement held until it didn't. By January 1st this year, Magnum had said goodbye to many of Ben and Jerry's independent directors, except for the Unilever appointed director and CEO, Dairy Reporter noted. In 2024, former independent members of Ben and Jerry's Defined Purpose Board filed a lawsuit against Magnum, which is still pending in the Southern District Court of New York. They allege the Magnum's removal of independent directors violated the original merger agreement. The board was recently joined by the Ben and Jerry's Foundation, an independent charitable organization funded by Unilever, the Magnum ice cream company, through Ben and Jerry's. The foundation won a court filing. Oh, run. The foundation won a court ruling to join the lawsuit after Magnum allegedly stopped providing it with approved funding. Vermont Business Magazine reported. A look at the lawsuit. The legal fight centers on governance structure deliberately baked into 2000 sale agreement. At the time of the acquisition, Unilever committed that Ben and Jerry's would retain an independent board focused on providing leadership for Ben and Jerry's social mission and brand integrity. Food Online reported. Cohen and Greenfield said that at the time they hoped the company would continue to expand in its role in society under Unilever's ownership. Amid the demerger, of Magnum from Unilever. However, Magnum established a new code of business principles that sets out ethical and behavioral principles by which all employees and functionaries are required to abide to. Three of the former independent directors termed out following the introduction of harmonized term limits, a 9 year limit in accordance with the UK Corporate Governance Code, which went into effect during the demerger. The three remaining independent directors chose not to affirm the company's code of business principles. Therefore, becoming ineligible to re-elect ineligible for re-election to the board. Magnum ultimately framed the decision as different from outright removal, but the independent board has called the move a coordinated dismantling. Ben and Jerry's co-founder and former board chair Greenfield had already resigned after 47 years with the company and separately filed an independent defamation case in California. Ben promises a boycott. Cohen, who is neither part of the independents members of the board nor part of the foundation, and is not part of is not a party of the legal proceedings, told New York Times, "We're turning up the heat." He has asked Magnum to sell Ben and Jerry's to a values assigned investor group and threatened a boycott on all Magnum products, which include Breyers, Klondike, and Talenti. If it doesn't comply, Ben and Jerry's is a proud and thriving part of the Magnum Ice Cream Company, and it's not for sale, Steve Houghton said, who leads Magnum's external communications, told MoneyWise. In response, our focus remains where it belongs on supporting Ben and Jerry's team, and it's a three-part mission: making great ice cream and advocating on progressive clauses the business cares about. Additionally, according to Houghton, Magnum invited the foundation trustees to collaborate on implementing a stronger governance framework, one that was rooted in transparency and accountability, because the foundation alleged declined. He explained Magnum was left with no choice but to pause forward funding. The financials behind the ice cream company case: Ben and Jerry is doing well, very well. Oh, doing well, really well, Houghton added, noting that last year delivered over 3% organic sales growth and gained market share across US and Europe, going from 4 markets in 2000 to over 40 today. In the meantime, he reported that more than half a billion has been invested in social mission, which has, in quote, continued to go from strength to strength. Recent steps to update Ben and Jerry's corporate governance are wholly aligned with the merger agreement and standard corporate governance across the organization. Nothing more than that, he continued, suggesting our actions are anything more than just not true. They are not and never have been. We remain committed to having a board led by an independent director to continue its role of helping guide the social mission and brand integrity alongside the CEO. However, things seem things seem to still flux for the ice cream company. David Stever, the former Ben and Jerry's CEO of 35 years, was recently named CEO of Jenny's Splendid Ice Creams, a direct rival of certified B Corp, meaning the meanwhile, more than 130 people have signed the petition requesting Magnum to sell Ben and Jerry's to values aligned investors, noting other mission driven company success. According to the Fortune, for example, Dr. Bronner's oh, grew from 4 million in revenue in 1998 to $250 million in 2025, while not investing much in traditional advertising. Patagonia's sales more than quadrupled over 20 years, from 240 million to about 1.5 billion dollars, while contributing more than 240 million to environmental profits. What investors and consumers should watch: the case the case raises pointed questions relevant well beyond ice cream. What's the deal term promise actually worth when ownership changes hands? According to detailed governance timeline published by dairy reporter, Ben and Jerry's independent board controls its own composition and mission protection under original merger agreement. Even after the ownership changes, Magnum's position is that it Actions fall within the governance scope. A court will ultimately decide who's right. M&A expert Farzad Muki, um, a managing director at a Averite advisory firm, Kroll told New York Times the situation is highly unusual. I can't think of any similar cases. For consumers, the more immediate question is simpler. The next time you reach for a frozen pint, whose values are you actually buying? Wow, that's it. But yeah, when you reach for a pint, whose actions are you buying? Are you valuing? Hmm. Never thought of that when I got ice cream. Who has the better? Uh, yeah. Do you guys like Ben and Jerry's? I didn't know they were owned by Magnum.
They have good ice cream.
Yeah, so does Magnum. Now who do I get? Do I have to choose sides?
Bluebell. Don't support
Mm.
any of that.
Or Kirkland?
I haven't tried Kirkland's ice cream, but Bluebell is my Bluebell's cookies and cream.
Cookies and cream is
Uh,
good.
I like Ben and Jerry's. I have nothing to say against them. Great ice cream. Uh,
Yeah, I just got some
yeah,
great
just got.
value ice cream sandwiches in the freezer.
Oh yeah, got some. What's it
It's been a long
called?
time since
Little
I've had
Ben
an
and
ice cream
Jerry's.
sandwich.
Ben and Jerry's is actually really cheap at CVS, so I got some on Instacart. 3 of them. They're $6. At other stores, I've seen them for 10 and 8, but I
That's
found
A
them for
piece?
6.
that's overpriced
Yes,
for a pint.
for a
Yeah,
pint.
for a pint. That's ridiculous. I'd never pay that.
That's
It's
absurd. Don't buy Ben
that's
and
not good
Jerry's.
prices.
Don't support
Fuck no.
that type of overpricing. Yeah,
That's why I got great value ice cream sandwiches because they're
yeah.
like $2 for a box of 12 or 16 ice cream sandwiches.
Where do you get those from?
Walmart. It's the
Mm,
Walmart
okay.
brand.
I Instacart 90%, maybe 95% of what I get. So
Walmart
yeah,
See,
delivers.
I'm too cheap
there's
to
not
pay for
one.
delivery.
Oh,
I won't
Mm.
DoorDash, nothing.
well.
None of that.
Well, it's
I'll
not
find
worth
a
it if you
How
ride
get
do
and go
under
you
do it
how
40
do you
myself.
bucks.
get anything? That's like I don't know. I guess yeah. If you get rides,
Even if I was at the store, I wouldn't pay $6 for a pint of ice cream. I'd
no,
look
better
at it
to
and be like, yeah, that looks
No,
really good, but I'm not paying that.
no. It
I
doesn't.
thought that was good prices. That's a big ice
That
cream
type
cup. Look at
of
this.
price tag on that doesn't look good. Mm.
Wait. I am right that the pint is the bigger cup, right? Not the little one, the big one.
I mean, it's
No, they
it's like it's the mm, mm, mm.
pints is
Oh,
four
I had
cups.
one. Okay, yeah, that looks like the one I've had.
I thought
It's
a
a
pint
decent
was two
size. It's like,
cups. Is it
I
four?
I
Because a
I
quart
don't.
is 4 cups, and then four
Maybe
quarts
you're
is
right.
okay.
a gallon. I think
I think I did get the quart for $6. I'm
two
sorry.
cups in a pint,
Uh,
2 pints in a quart, 4 quarts in a gallon.
Well, let's
Is
put it
it?
this way. They sell at the Walmart here, they for four like ice cream sandwiches like on a stick, ice cream bars is almost $6. That's stupid. For four?
oh no, not the mini cups.
I'm talking about an ice cream bar on a stick. They're let's see. I'm looking at the app right now. A pint of Ben and Jerry's is $4.87.
Okay.
That's still too much. I wouldn't pay it. If it was $4.80, yeah, 87 cents for like a half gallon, I'd pay that. But not for that little bitty cup. No way in hell.
um, I don't get the little bitty cup.
That's all they come
Mm,
in as little cups.
no. It's kind of a big cup.
How
They
many?
have
How,
these
like,
little bitty ones,
I'm not talking about the
but they
little
have
mini
one.
ones. I'm talking about the ones that are probably like what, 4 inches tall and
Yeah,
3 inches around. Yeah, that's a pint. They're like almost
a
five
decent amount of
bucks.
ice cream. I like
Not in
the
my
ice
house.
cream. They have a lot of different
I'd eat
flavors
that in
that
one sitting.
I do,
Yeah, it's a single
and it
serving.
says no. It's like 3 servings. It says
Yeah. A,
Supposed to
you guys
be.
are talking about the mini
a
cups.
pint of Ben and
Yeah,
Jerry's here in Florida from Walmart is $4.87.
That's what
And
it is here too.
even that's a little pricey. You guys pay ridiculous taxes and markups over in California
Well, and
because you're
he's probably paying even more because he's having Instacart bring it. So they probably automatically add more to the price and then they charge you delivery too.
No, they don't add more to the price. They just add that extra charge all the way at the very end. Just
Oh,
tack on,
see,
and they don't mention it until, you know,
till
well, they
you're
don't
done
mention
filling
it.
your cart.
Yeah, they don't mention it, and then you get to the end and check out, and they just hope you don't look and pay too close attention that there's like a delivery fee and a service fee, and you have to tip your driver.
And tax. Yeah, it's just
Yeah, and your absurd California taxes. Um,
okay. If you go to a
yeah,
grocery store, you can find it for 5.99, oh 5.19. But these neighborhood stores, that's why it's costing $7 because it's a
519.
neighborhood
I guess
store.
that's not too far off
yeah,
of
that's
four
about the
dollars
same.
eighty seven. That's like 20, 30 cents more. Yeah, but
Ben
still,
and Ben and
that's
Jerry's is
like
like a special treat kind of ice cream. If I want ice
Yeah, it's
cream.
mm,
like every now and then.
Bluebell. Get Bluebell.
Oh yeah, it's
Better
just as
than
good.
it's better. No, Bluebell is better than Ben and Jerry's.
Depends on the
Mm.
flavor.
Well, cookies and cream is the correct flavor, so that's given.
There is no other.
No,
There is no other acceptable answer.
there are other flavors, but they're the wrong ones.
The fudge brownie.
Chocolate.
Sure, they're fine. Yeah,
No.
they exist. Yeah.
I like the fudge brownie. And I
Well,
only
It's
find
weird.
it on Ben and Jerry's. Well, I think maybe
enjoy
because I
being
only look at.
wrong.
It's weird. I
Mhm.
Mm.
don't like chocolate, but I
Well,
like brownies and I like um
the
cookies and cream ice cream.
the fudge
Me too.
brownie is too much chocolate all in the one time. And the fudgy brownie makes the chocolate ice cream taste unchocolatey and kind of almost bland, or the chocolate ice cream makes the fudgy brownie taste overwhelming. There's no middle ground, no happy medium that I've found. It's yeah, but it's interesting. The I don't I don't know.
Ice cream is expensive. Shouldn't be. But yeah,
I don't
I'm
know.
seeing that ice cream is expensive, more expensive than I thought. Uh, yeah,
Yeah, I
I
paid
see another.
$3 for a 12 pack of ice cream sandwiches. If I want ice cream, I'll just eat an ice cream sandwich and then I won't eat too much.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
They
Brahms are
they
way
yeah.
stopped
better.
making Choco Tacos. That
Oh
made me
no,
sad. Yeah,
those were good.
I didn't know
yeah.
that.
Unless maybe they
When they
started
stop
making
making
them again.
those?
I don't know. I thought it was only a couple years ago. Maybe they is a novelty. Maybe somebody fooled me. It says is. It's using the present. Oh wait, no. Yes, was discontinued July 2022 after nearly
After
40
40
years.
years.
Klondike, owned by Unilever, initially cited low sales. Fan demand led to promises of a potential return as of late 2024, 2025. New elevated version is being reintroduced through a partnership with Salt and Straw. What does an elevated version mean? How do
They're
you
gonna try and
elevate
make it fancier and fuck it up.
how do you elevate a sandwich like uh, up there? Put it
Hmm.
on a higher shelf than they had it before. Make the grocery stores promise to put them on a shelf above the
Got to
or
be on the
regular
top shelf.
above, yeah, at the very least above the regular ice cream sandwiches. Yeah. New Choco Taco, 319,
For how many?
4 pack.
That's not too bad. They're less than $1 a piece.
Yeah.
Still expensive though.
But it's
There's just
elevated ice cream.
That's right. It is definitely
Yeah.
yeah.
elevated from the great value ice cream
Yeah.
sandwiches.
The
Doesn't feel any different in your mouth.
Yes, it can.
Um,
oh, it's 5.99 from DoorDash though. Instacart
for one,
319, 5.99 from DoorDash, 6.25 through Uber Eats, and out of stock through Uber Eats. What the heck is going on with this? I don't know. 4.7 stars though on user reviews on Google. The Choco Taco. That's hard to beat. 4.7 is pretty high.
It's the waffle cone that does it.
It is.
Love waffle cones.
yeah. Um,
You guys are
I
making me
had
want
an
to buy more
article
ice
here.
cream.
Mm,
I was just thinking about ice cream. My mother has ice cream. I think she has one that has the cones. I think it's the cone ice cream, and it's all mixed into one. Like they broke down the cone, and then they put it in the ice cream all in one little. I mean, little. It's kind of a big carton. I got to get some before I leave out of
Do the
here.
waffle cones stay crunchy or are they mushy?
Yes, yes. Until you let the ice cream melt. If you eat the ice cream before it melts, you don't. I haven't experienced that because I get it done before it melts. But I'm
Yeah.
assuming if you let it get all milky and wet, it won't be any good.
yeah.
Uh,
You gotta hope that they did a good job shipping it and keeping it refrigerated while they were stocking it and everything, because that can mess it
yeah,
up.
yeah. There was a something on the news out here to where um one guy he was just talking about he doesn't want the LGBTQ in the city library. So that was something I found as well. He
Oh,
said he was an older gentleman, so I know his outlook on it is probably some stuff he's seen in the or grew up on in the 70s and 60s or something like that. But he was just talking about I don't want to bring my kid to the library and then um two flamboyant guys come in with these bright colors taking the attention from everybody loud, and I was like, wow, He said this on
That's
the news,
profiling.
but
I
yeah,
mean,
this was
if
just
they're
some random
being
guy.
loud and obnoxious in a library, that's, if they happen to be flamboyant and gay, that's beside the point. If they're being loud in a library, they're being assholes and they shouldn't be in there if they have to be that loud.
And they
Be
gave out
loud outside
bookmarks.
and then come back in and shut
They
up.
gave out bookmarks in the library that said LGBTQ. And yeah, it's two-sided argument about that. I don't want my kid to have it. I do want my kid to have it. They shouldn't give it out in a public library. And who
Don't be
cares?
pushing
There's
a political agenda on children in a library. That's,
yeah, I'll read the article.
if they
The article
want to,
says
you know,
I'll read the
I
article here,
mean,
Mark.
it's
It says
how would it be received if a pastor went in and started handing out, you know, Jesus saves bookmarks? Do you think that that would be the same?
yeah, there's gonna be someone uh who doesn't agree with
There would
everything.
be
I
I
just
think
didn't
there
know
would
why
be
they
a pretty big uproar from the same community that's crying foul over this one intolerant old dude who didn't like a couple of men coming in and being loud and handing out
that was
bookmarks. Mm,
just
I
an
mean,
example because
mm.
they don't yeah, that was just an example of what he was saying could happen because they're getting ready for Pride Month, I think it is.
Oh, oh, okay.
So
So it wasn't even
he was
actually
just
happening.
saying
It was
no,
might
he was just
happen.
saying we shouldn't have this in the public libraries. He was like, who wants to see two loud, flamboyant people walking through the library while they're trying to read something and handing out LGBTQ um, bookmarks? Um,
I mean, don't
yeah, and
be
he said that
bothering
stuff shouldn't
people
be
in a
allowed. And
library. Don't be loud.
It
I
Handing
sounds
understand that.
really
out
like
bookmarks is beside the point. Don't be interrupting people. Don't be loud. Like
it
it's a
sounds like
matter
they're
of respect.
it sounds to me like they're profiling gay people as all being loud and flamboyant.
I mean,
Yeah, this was what one guy said. So not everybody thinks that. I don't want you to say
yeah.
what everybody thinks, but that guy, he was really rude. He was on the news, and this is what he was saying, and he was just he said some things, and I couldn't find that thing in the video or whatever. But I have the article here. Um, Probably says nothing about what he said, but he said some stuff I wish I was recording. Um, can't record live TV on this TV, so
I mean, what
but
did he say? You can recount.
just that part, he was just like nobody wants to see it. Um,
I mean,
yeah,
if
he
you're in
was
a
like, why do
library
my kids have
reading,
to?
you don't want to be
He also
bothered
said
by
his
some dude
kids,
coming up. Yeah.
yeah, and he was like they don't have to involve the children, giving them the bookmarks or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he said a lot, but I read
I
the
mean,
article here.
they shouldn't.
Go ahead.
No, just nobody would like handing out bookmarks to other people's children in the library with, pushing Christian theology. It's a matter of respect, you know, don't push that on other people's kids. Goes both ways, right? And
Um,
another respect is being quiet. Don't be bothering people, period, in the library. Goes both ways.
um,
Like, I
that's
don't
what
know.
one person said. That's what not
Right.
everyone said.
Yeah. But
The whole problem is
that's
they
just the
don't want the
position they have.
library to celebrate. They don't want the library to celebrate LGBTQ. That's what the whole thing is about. There's just an argument about it. They're putting banners and flyers inside the library, and so there's an uproar just about the two-sided situation. There's always two sides. Um, yeah, they just think at all, period, they shouldn't celebrate it at the library. But yeah, what that guy said is the opinions of that guy. Uh, I'll read the article. It says new Fresno County policy in which about which holidays can by recognized wait officially recognized by employees and potentially receive public funding looks like to be facing a major test with Pride Month, a yearly recognition of queer communities that sparked the new guidelines. The Fresno County Board of Supervisors will be asked to support the Fresno County Library's request to recognize Pride Month in June, as well as spend $125 for a booth space at Fresno Rainbow Pride, which is gathering at Fresno City College that follows the parade through the Tower District. Supporters of the library participating began drumming up support over the weekend, and many of them gathered on Monday outside of Fresno City Hall, County Hall, I'm sorry, County Hall of Records to continue to push for support going into the county meeting. Tuesday morning, we stand with the library and the desire to serve every part of the community, including our LGBTQ friends, family members, youth, and elders. The Reverend Akiko Mayo- Mayaki Stoner of United Japanese Christian Church said on Monday. We also recognize that words spoken from positions of power have real consequences. The supporters said they were concerned over whether the library would get enough votes after one of the supporters spoke out against it. Supervisor Gary Bredefield has been vocal about his disdain for what he describes as, in quote, the LGBTQ political agenda and indo indoctrination of children. According to May 7th, social media post, his most recent public comments on event related Pride Month, he posted said he received a letter from a constituent who said their 13-year-old was given a bookmark at school that depicted books with LGBTQ content. He said he's learned the library staff would hand out more bookmarks. That is why I fight against what the library is doing and return our libraries to an environment that is safe for our children, is free of any political ideology, and promotes literacy programs in a transparent and healthy manner, he wrote in a post. Bredefield last year championed the county's new, more restrictive policy adopted in July after he saw Fresno County Health Department had passed out condoms, lube, and educational brochures. He said county staffers estimated the county spent about $6,000. Pride supporters said last year the county had been had been a long time participant in events going back at least a decade. Bredefield campaigned against any pride displays at the library. The, the display last year at the downtown Central Library was a shelf near the entrance that featured books related to the lives of the members of the gay, lesbian, trans, and other queer communities. Outside the pre-approved holidays on the county's list, like Christmas and Juneteenth, county employers are now required to ask the supervisors for permission to recognize the events in places like the library or spend money. Advocates for a queer community argue the library should be a safe place for exploration, noting young people can go get books and other media without having to pay for it, providing spaces for members of community that is not always welcome could go a long way to comforting those young people, according to Tracy Cisneri to Tracy, a a volunteer from Fresno Rainbow Pride, attempts to remove the restrict LGBTQ visible of visibility in our private spaces. Oh, in our public spaces. I don't know why I keep saying the wrong words. Especially at our libraries, does not protect our children. However, it does put them in grave danger of self harm and even death, she said. This is not an exaggeration. That is a fact. LGBTQ teens are more likely to commit self harm and report higher rates of suicidal ideation in heterosexual teens, according to well established academic research tracked by National Institute of Health. Not allowing library staff to participate in the event amounts to censorship and sends the wrong message to young people and vulnerable, according to Stetler Brown, a professor at communications. We need to learn about what we are telling our students, our citizens of the valley, that if their stories are not wanted in the library, what does that mean about their worth of the world? Well, worth in the world, he said. So
They're
I'm
not
here to push
removing their
back.
books from the library. They're not censoring anything. Non-participation is not censorship. That is massively intellectually dishonest on the part of that professor there. That is absolutely absurd. Not
Yeah,
putting a special shelf of with those books right out front, just keeping them where they are on the shelves. That's not
um,
censorship. That's not censorship. That's not telling those people that their stories are not valued. It's none of that. Their stories are still there. Their books are still there. Everything's still there, right? Just
yeah,
like they don't put Bibles in stacks for Easter, right? They don't hand out Bibles in front of the library there on those Christian holidays, Easter, Christmas, right? They don't push the religious aspect of those, Easter bunny, colorful eggs, and, Christmas garlands and Santa Claus, right? It's sufficiently secularized, and that's fine, sure, but
Halloween gets
not
one too.
putting them in a place of pride, in a special display out front, simply leaving them where they are, that is not
Yeah, I agree with
at
them
all
just
in
being
any way
on a regular
censorship.
shelf.
That guy is an asshole.
Jeff
I
says it
agree
does
with you.
nothing to harm kids. It does make them feel less valued.
Yeah, I do feel like they could have, it could be on a regular shelf. Like if you're looking for a book, it's
Yeah.
on a shelf. So I understand what you mean there. Um, and yeah, just on the news every day is what they've been talking about is that, and people are still just mad about it. And like I said, they're trying to get this library to be able to keep, like it happened last year. It's been happening, but it got noticed this year, and they want to stop it. Um,
I mean, it's
so
been
yeah,
noticed every year. It's not at all subtle. Don't think that it's just suddenly an issue. Suddenly we notice. No, it's not. Everybody has known, at least for the past, what, 6, 7 years, at least, probably a bit more than
it's been a
7 years.
while.
It has been
Yeah, it's
I've
shoved
been
down
more than that.
everybody's throats that, rainbows are everywhere on June. Like, it's not, I don't know.
they have featured religious books before holidays before in libraries.
Really? Do they
Yes,
still?
that I do not know. But Jeff commented on
Because,
it too. He said, Mark, they used to feature religious books before holidays.
right.
And I know
But
that
if
I
they
have
if
been
they
in,
are not still doing it, then it's not, if they have no longer permitted those religious
they
books to
do
be put in
feature,
a point of pride out front, then that's.
a lot of times they do though. They'll put out stuff like the Christmas story or this and that
A
and set up nativity
Christmas
scenes.
story is not a religious one. A Christmas story, Christmas Carol, that's not a religious one. That's
I'm
a
saying
very
Christmas
secular.
stories that are
Right.
relating to the origin of
Okay.
Christmas and
Right.
it being
Sure.
related to
Sure.
not specifically that story.
Okay. Fair
I'm just
point.
saying it has been done for other things before that don't have anything to do with pride. So why should they
Well,
censor? I'm going to use the
is
word
is
censor. I know it's not right, but censor that and not have them be allowed when all these other things are allowed.
is that county, is that library systems still doing that, or have they
Yeah,
I
this
um
haven't
is
been
this
to the
is up to
library.
date. This is
are
coming
they
on the
well, no,
news.
but
Oh,
is that library system still putting religious
that I don't
religious
know.
themed items in the front of their library to the same degree that they do the Pride Month books and displays? Because I mean, it's
I,
also a little different because the like Pride Month is a completely invented holiday. It's not even really a holiday. It's an entire month
there's
for
a lot
just
of people out there that
Just
don't
to get
believe in all of
recognized.
the religious stuff and aren't religious. Why should,
yeah.
they could totally throw a stink just like this guy is saying that I don't believe in this. Why should you put this out here? I don't want it shoved in my face. It's no
Right.
different than that. It's not like giving somebody a
Yeah,
bookmark or putting books out is going to make their children gay.
No. Yeah. I recognize that.
That's
But
what it
yeah.
sounds like is
With the
they're trying to completely shelter their children to not let them know that
not even
this
see it.
is right. We don't want them to see it. It doesn't exist because I
Right.
don't believe in it.
no. No. No.
That's what that guy sounded like.
No. No. The Bible teaches that it is a sin. It is not
Well,
it is
I don't
not
believe in
Oh my
that.
that
goodness.
I'm just saying.
That's your opinion. And
I'm
you
not
have
saying
every
it's
right to
not
be
my
religious and
opinion.
have that opinion.
That guy is, if he's coming from a religious framework, then that's where it's coming from. It's not keep it out of mind. It doesn't exist. They're teaching this is, you know, it's
And
counter
they
to
can't
their
teach that.
belief system.
And
So
they can't
I'm
talk to their kids
right,
and explain their position to their children.
right.
What's wrong with that? If
It's
that's
not
what they
wrong.
believe,
They do. They will be,
Right.
no doubt.
why do they have to throw such a stink about it and try to exclude other people from
Well,
celebrating themselves and celebrating the things that they
should
want to
they have
celebrate?
to be having discussions with their prepubescent children before they've even had the sex talk about all of this sort of stuff? They're kind of forcing a discussion that does not need to be had on a population that is not ready for it in a way that they cannot be sheltered from.
There's a way to
To a
have that
population
conversation.
who, have a religious viewpoint that, you know, I
They
know.
don't have to get into sex. They can just say some boys like boys, some girls like girls, some people like everybody. They don't have to make it about sex.
Right.
How do you
They
teach
just
the
want to make it a
liking part? What is the liking? I mean, there's
There's
yeah.
an age appropriate way to discuss all of this with your children.
and they're forcing that discussion early on parents who do not want to be forced to have it with children who are unprepared.
And you're forcing people to not be able to express themselves by not being able to have their
Not
holiday that
forcing
you
them
think
to
is
not
just a
be able
made
to
up
express
holiday.
themselves. They can express themselves however they want. that doesn't mean it needs to be put in a place of pride in front, unavoidable, and made, front and center.
That I do see
Uh,
your point on that, but at the same time, it's just you're saying it's a made up holiday, and well, I can say Christmas is a made up holiday because I don't believe in it. Does
everything is
that
made
offend
up by
you?
somebody.
Right.
No,
Everybody makes up
that
something.
was not what
It's
it
fucking
was,
drawing day. If you go look at today's holiday, today is drawing day. Somebody fucking made that up.
Every day
It's
is
all
something.
made up. Right. I have a holiday calendar. There's a holiday every day on it.
no, that was not the point
Mm.
that I was making.
But you're it's
If I had finished that thought train, it's a made up holiday to push a political ideology. It is not
and
a,
Christmas is crammed down everybody's throat every year. Everywhere.
and it's
What about all
sufficiently
the non-Christian
secularized
people?
that nobody has any trouble avoiding the entire religious aspect of it. Ho ho ho, Santa
I don't
Claus,
celebrate Thanksgiving
Rudolph the
anyway. I
Red-Nosed
mean, I don't
Reindeer.
celebrate
Like,
Christmas,
so
Thanksgiving.
um
None of
so
those.
why
I'm
is
just
it?
saying, how is that any different? That you're cramming Christmas down
Because
everybody's throat,
it's
but it's not okay
sufficiently
to celebrate
secularized
Pride
that
Month.
it's easy to avoid the entire religious
It's
aspect of it, and
it
it's
is
not
not.
possible to avoid the entire Pride Month.
I disagree. What about
I think
Just
Easter?
so is Easter. So
what about Easter?
Jeff brought up the point.
that
So is
give
Easter.
their
It's this.
give their children Easter bunny Easter eggs, and if you want to make it pagan, you can celebrate the Norse traditions and stuff where the bunny and the colored eggs come from. That's sufficiently secularized that you don't have to get into the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus.
So the
You don't
crucifixion and
have to talk
resurrection
about the
is
Passover. I mean,
so crucifixion and resurrection and Passover. That's all because of Easter. But you're also bringing up a Norse religion. That's another religion.
yeah, you don't need to force to focus on the religious part of it.
But you're
Who
saying that
dwells on
you
the
can give.
religious aspect of giving their children an Easter basket with a chocolate bunny and putting colored eggs around the house to on an Easter egg hunt? How religious is that? What ideology is that?
Well, you just said it's a it
um
comes from the Norse religion.
Yeah, that's where it comes from. No, who follows that? Nobody practices that
I
religion
used to
anymore. Nobody even really fully
You don't know
understands
that.
it. The Norse did not
y-
have a written language. Nobody knows what their beliefs actually were, except what little has been handed down in Viking epic poems. And, even that is of
You can't
questionable.
say they didn't have a written language. They have runes.
Norse, yeah, Viking runes are not a full fleshed out written language. You can look that up if you want.
I'm not going to look it up.
when
I will take your word for it, but you can't say they didn't write anything because they did.
It's not a written language. Norse runes do not have a fully fleshed out language. There's symbolic meanings behind them. It's not
Cre-
an alphabet.
It
They
is an
symbolize
alphabet.
they
It just
symbolize
doesn't
different
have
things.
26 letters like you want it to for
No,
English.
no, it is not an alphabet. Do you want me to go look up? I can pull up the Wikipedia article.
the Hawaii alphabet actually has 13 letters.
All I'm
Yeah.
saying
The
is that
Hebrew
everyone
alphabet
should be
has
able to
23. So what?
all I'm
What does
saying
that matter?
all I'm saying about this pride thing is everybody should have a right to do what they want to do, love who they want to love, have their own belief system, and if it
Yeah,
doesn't align with yours, then don't pay attention to it.
yeah. That's what I felt like.
Why
They need
should
to
you?
not go argue on the news. Wasn't with all that. But mm, mm.
I mean, everything you said
Yeah.
perfectly lines up with my viewpoint. Like, why, if you want to love what you want, do what you want to do. Like, so don't force your viewpoint on others. Like you said at the
But
very
that
end.
person is
Right.
forcing their viewpoint on the pride people. The
No,
people who want to
the
celebrate pride,
pride
they're
people are
forcing their viewpoint on it.
forcing the pride out front.
I
How?
wanna
I don't.
I wanna say something when you said they don't force the religion part on you with the holiday. Where I'm from, and a lot of people I know, Easter Sunday was one day that everybody went to church, even with your parents. We even had an outfit for that day every year. So we had the religious part of it. That was not avoided. Yeah.
And
I
that's how
mean,
it
we
is in
could
the
go to church
majority of the
every,
country.
I mean, there's a lot of the country who only go to church on Easter and Christmas, and that's fine. I mean,
yeah, and I don't go on Christmas. Didn't know. Well,
there's
Easter's always
it's
on a Sunday. Christmas is on a Monday on all the other days, time to time. But yeah, I feel like them putting it at a library, putting a little thing right there for the month. That's the just like everybody else. I
They
mean,
do
everything
featured shit
else
at libraries all
gets a
the time.
little, yeah. Um, yeah, this one does have a bookshelf and it basically says Happy Pride and it has the books on it. I'm assuming every other month they would move to somewhere else to where it doesn't say Happy Pride Month. Uh,
To me, just putting something out there and saying happy pride is just saying we support everyone, no matter what.
it's
That's not
right.
cramming anything down anyone's throat.
it's a
It's
political
it's
ideology.
much less than the lady at the fucking Walmart handing me her Jesus stuff.
Fine,
I
and you
mean,
feel that's
Yeah.
inappropriate, right? How
I was
inappropriate is
very
that, right? Equally as
I
inappropriate as putting the LGBTQ stuff right out front unavoidably and passing out LGBTQ bookmarks to other people's children in a library, as
but isn't
inappropriate and
Christianity
violated as you felt about that
I'm
um
not saying I felt
tract
What?
is,
violated. I was just not interested.
well, you
I'm
seemed
asking
upset
you.
when you mentioned it.
I don't think that the Walmart checkout line is an appropriate place to do that.
And the public
And I
library
don't
is
think that
not an
anyone,
appropriate place to be pushing a political ideology.
so isn't Christianity
Um,
supposed to be all about acceptance and love?
Love the sinner, not the sin. Love the people, but not the ideology that they're following, not yeah. Come
So
as
why
you
are they
are,
hating on the
mm,
people?
come as
Come
you
as you
are,
are.
and don't stay
But
as
if
you are. That's the thing. It's
what?
so you
Don't stay as you are, but
Yeah, come as
um,
you are, do not stay as you are. Come, repent of your sin, is what Jesus said, and go and sin no more, is what he said.
I'm
And
not going to
so if
get in a Bible
homosexuality is
argument
a
with
sin,
you.
huh? Yeah,
I
right.
said, I'm
Well,
not
I
going to get,
mean,
everybody go
if
it's a
God is
religious.
all good and all powerful, then how come there's bad things in the world?
because the world is fallen. I
Mm,
mean,
But I don't get it. But that's fine. That's your
I don't
belief. I
expect you.
respect it.
I mean,
I
this would
just,
get into a very interesting argument. Well, not argument, a very
I don't
interesting
have enough
discussion.
knowledge
It's one that
about the
yeah,
Bible to even have
I'm,
that argument with you.
well, no, we shouldn't have an argument. We should have a discussion.
Well,
And
you know what I'm
I,
saying. I'm,
right, well, and I don't know if live on air is inappropriate. I don't know if everybody watching or listening would necessarily want to watch or listen to that. But
um,
I just don't
force it on them.
understand why all people can't
They're gonna
be
listen.
accepting of others.
I am
Yeah.
accept. I love the people, but I don't think that living the way that they're living is the best for them. That's
Uh,
There's a lot
why
of things. there's a lot of things other than pride that are not acceptable according to the Bible.
I mean, that is a true, vague blanket statement. Do you want to get more specific? Do you have a criticism you want to address?
No, not necessarily. I'm just saying there's a tremendous amount of things that Christians say that that's bad, that's a sin, that's whatever.
Yeah.
Why can't everyone
Well,
just love everyone?
it's not Christians that say it's a sin. It's God that says it's a sin. And Christians are called to follow that and obey that, which is difficult because, we are fallen. It's easy to be tempted and it's difficult to follow the course. And
If
nobody
God's
is
all good and
perfect.
all powerful, why does he leave temptation in the world?
Temptation is, what do you mean? Why does he
You
leave?
just said that it's easy to be tempted. So, well, if God is all good and all powerful, then why can't he fix that?
It's Satan who came and tempted. Satan
Well, if he's all
rebelled
powerful,
in
then how
the
can
in
he?
the in the angelic rebellion in Genesis and was cast out. About a third of the heavenly host were cast out of heaven, rebelled with Satan against God, and out of spite and rebellion, um, they came down to earth and decided to fuck up God's little creation. It was perfect before that.
But if
And
he's all powerful,
that
why
is
can't
that is
God
where
fix that?
he is, and he is fixing it. He
How?
has a plan.
He's not getting rid of it, so it's still here,
No,
so he's
he's
not
not.
fixing it.
He's allowing people to live out their life.
You
He's
got
not
something.
he's not going to deny humanity. Okay, I mean, he interrupted a line of thought that was going on before.
I apologize.
It's difficult to um so but okay, the
Check out the
rebellion
article I sent.
where evil entered the world, and what was, I don't know. Okay. Um I don't know. Should we, do you really want to have this discussion right now?
I just don't
I mean,
Or
understand why everyone can't love everyone and leave
we,
everybody else alone.
as Christians, we are called to love everyone. And I do my best to hold to it. I am very imperfect in that regard, though. But I, but again, love the sinner, hate the sin. We're supposed to love each other, but not the people who are not the things that people are doing that are in uh like that contravene God's orders. And when you consider the law, the purpose of the law that God gave, it is like guardrails, guidelines, rules to keep people loving, like not just loving each other, but keep people from hurting each other. In the New Testament, when um, Jesus is asked, what is the greatest commandment? He tells them, or he answers, love the Lord your God with all your heart. And the second commandment is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. For it is from these two commandments that the whole of the law is derived. So, I mean, if that's basically, if you really think about it, he's saying the whole of the law is to love God, which is the don't do what he doesn't want you to do, and love each other as much as you love yourself. Like treat them as you would treat yourself. Um, and everything
I
else kind of follows from that, right? Don't steal, like, because you wouldn't want people stealing from you. Don't commit adultery because, you wouldn't want your spouse cheating on you. Don't kill because you want to live. Like all of these things, everything else comes from that, treat treat your neighbor as yourself. Love them as yourself. And so it's that I don't know. That's a I don't know. It's a powerful thought when you first like really start to absorb it and think about what that really means. Um,
I got
and
a list of
forcing
some
their
debates.
opinions on forcing that opinion onto someone else and saying, I love you, but you're wrong. And what you do is a sin and you're going to go to hell. That's really loving them, right?
yeah,
That'll fuck somebody up.
I
yeah.
had I
Wanting them
had a
to not go to
5-year-old come and
hell.
tell me that I was
Wanting
going
them
to
to
go to
not
hell
go to
because I
hell.
wore pants.
Well, I mean, that's a misinformed 5-year-old, and I don't know.
Pentecostal.
Fine. Yeah. There's a lot of
I'm
denominations, a lot of,
and they all have their own beliefs.
religious, sure. And yeah, I don't think that Christianity was ever meant to be a religion, especially not in the big organizational sense. Um, that that like uh I
I
mean,
don't feel like the
name a
going
denomination. I don't think that, it was supposed to be a relationship between the individual and their creator, and everything else follows from that initial um, premise when you're
it's
um,
just from
um,
my perspective, it seems like all of the religions are trying to force their beliefs on the people of pride, whereas the people of pride are just celebrating themselves. And I don't see what's bad about that. I don't think that anyone should force their beliefs on anyone else.
which is
Right.
why they have an issue with the Pride Month being put out front. Nobody should force their beliefs on anyone else.
They're not forcing their beliefs, they're just
Just
celebrating
putting
people.
it out front and yeah.
Yeah,
We're never going
they're
to
just
agree on this.
celebrating. Um, yeah,
They're
like
just
the Juneteenth day, we have a party. Well, not us, but yeah, there's usually like some city event going on. Uh,
just because it's
it's,
displayed out on a table doesn't mean that it everyone has to agree with it.
I sent you
Uh,
the article so you can look at the picture of where it's actually set in front of the library. Uh, Send it to the chat. Check that one out. Um,
it's not
so
letting
yeah,
me see it without a subscription to the Fresno Bee.
me either. It tells me I should have to, but I just scroll down. Uh,
Nope.
I can see it.
Mm.
yeah, down at the bottom is the books, and yeah, I mean it's not all big, and you don't have to notice it. You really might have to be paying attention to actually notice it. Um,
I can't see.
there's no flag, but there's colorful paper. So I mean,
Mm. I don't know.
if you
It's
go
not
over
letting
there
me
to
Yeah,
be
see
like,
like
it.
oh, what is this? Then that's on
Mm.
you. All it says
Um,
is Happy
they're
Pride. It's just
they're just
celebrating
celebrating people.
God doesn't
people
want
being
me to
people.
see the picture. It's not
I'm sure
working.
that's it.
Yeah.
It's got to be it.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I mean,
Love thy neighbor. Love thy truth and with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that puts up some interesting debates that I got for Wednesday.
Uh-oh. Are you gonna
Are you gonna
get
clue us in?
all riled up again?
Definitely. Uh, you know me. I had this one for a while now, and I was thinking, might Mark be disappointed about this? Because it
Hmm.
was a week ago that it happened. And then I was just like, I have it right here. It's in my open tabs.
Wait,
And
a week
today,
ago, so they started their Pride Month display at the beginning of May.
um, you got to look at
That's
the article. Yeah.
kind of weird. It's not
It
Uh,
really
says on
Pride
this is
Month
from
anymore if it's
2025. It says the
okay.
display went up on June
Okay.
10th of 2025.
June 10th. They're kind of
oh no, it's
behind.
going up. It's on the news now. So I mean, this is probably an old article, but
Under
yeah.
So is he
under
trying
that
to
picture.
preemptively get in before they put anything up and say no, no, no? Or did they already put something up and he's saying this is no bueno? I don't know. It won't let me get through the
Now
pop-up
They
mine is
will.
block
tripping
thing.
too.
So I just can't, I don't know.
Um, it's nothing
Let's
I
see
big.
I
if I
just
can
I
send
love
it to the,
everybody, and I think
Right.
everyone should be able to celebrate what they want to celebrate.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love everybody, and everybody will celebrate whatever they want to celebrate, whether anybody wants them to or not.
Right.
Um, yeah, and it shouldn't, uh,
I just
just
don't think
like if
one person should dictate.
anybody's like Christmas, Easter, um, I don't know. I mean, to circle back, I do think again that's a bit different because like when you said Pookie, you went to church on Easter, right? But your religious activity was confined within the framework of the religious institution that observes it, right?
Wait, you lost me. I
You
was
went to church,
confined, you said?
but you went to church on Easter, right? And on Christmas. So there was a
No, not on
religious
Christmas.
aspect. Okay, there was a religious aspect to it, right? But it was only in church that you had any religious observance aspect of Easter, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So that's different from having it in the front of a public library for an entire month leading up to um, the date itself.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that the state should be putting any agenda. And if some people feel that this is a political agenda, then I don't know. It shouldn't be, but it's
Yeah. Yeah. I don't feel like
when
what the picture. I don't feel like if you have a little table, it should bother one person or a group of people. There's not a person standing there to go, "Hey, come over here, check this out." So that shouldn't be a big bother of it just sitting there. Uh,
It
I
looks
mean,
like they've, featuring an author, or it's not like a big "come be gay" sign.
that would be, I'm just sorry,
not
that's
an
kind
open
of funny.
invitation.
Come be
Right.
gay. Wow.
Um,
Yeah. I don't know. Mm.
and this is where I have to go.
Oh, Okay.
Yeah.
So you're loaded up with ideas to start arguments on Wednesday.
Oh, definitely. That was nice.
So
That was
Not
interesting.
arguments, discussions.
Yeah, it's discussion or a debate. It's not an argument.
debate. Well,
You can argue your point,
mm,
but it's not an argument.
mm.
But yeah, I'm going out of town this weekend.
Oh,
Going 400 miles away by train and bus, Greyhound and Amtrak. So this is going to be
fun.
pretty interesting. I'll
Gotta
try
go
to be
pull out
back
the dad
before.
card.
Yeah, gotta go dad, because dad needs to dad, but dad needs to dad with mom. So this is a time where
I
we
wish
gotta
you
go
lots of
dad.
luck.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
When do you come back?
I come back Monday. I'm coming back Monday because the podcast is obviously Tuesday, and then gotta be for Wednesday. But I'm also gonna take my tripod just in case I don't get back on time. I will do this podcast from anybody's house, anybody's back bedroom, somewhere. It's happening.
You're gonna be on the train doing a podcast.
That's what I won't do. I'll do it in someone's house, but I'm not going to do it while transporting. I've tried that from an Uber and it didn't work. So,
Okay.
but yeah,
Well, be safe.
Still got an hour and a half to go. So, still got plenty of time. But hey, everybody out there, press that thumbs up button, and we'll see you guys on. I always forget what's today. Today's Saturday. We'll see you guys
Today's
on
Saturday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
And
Yeah.
Wednesday, 9 a.m. sharp. Oh, that's Pacific. 12 a.m. Eastern.
12 p.m.
11 Central.
12
PM.
p.m. Eastern.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go.
That
What time zone are you in?
Eastern,
No, Andrew,
He's
what time
Eastern,
zone
I'm
is it?
Central.
Central.
Okay.
It's 11 here. I'm an hour off from Mark and 2 hours off from you.
Okay. So, yeah. Everybody out there, you have a good one, and hope
We'll
you
see
guys
you
have a
next
great
time.
day. I hope you guys loved what happened today.